What is up? Happy Friday. Happy warmth. It's very nice out. I hope it's nice where you're at. The first thing that I have to say on this stream is that I have an announcement to make, which is that I have ascended to the next level of Twitch streaming nerdery, which is that I am an affiliate. What does that mean? It means that you can subscribe to me. I don't know why you would do that, but you can. And I have another announcement, which is that Null Bitmap, our one of our staunchest, most strong supporters, has subscribed on this day. And for that, I say thank you. And congratulations on your first badge. That was fun. Yes, exactly. Living on that big sub money. Exactly. So it's pretty fun. Pretty exciting. I'm also at 99 followers, which is pretty awesome. I'm hoping today can be the day where we hit that psychological barrier of 100 and launch us to the stratospheres of Twitch stocks. You know, if you could bet on a Twitch stock, you'd bet on me. Hitting that 100 number feels great. All right, so what's going to go on now is that we're going to talk a bit about what we're going to work on today. And we're going to switch over to the desktop mode, in which we have a sick new keyboard cam. Check this out. We got the StarCraft 2 mode coming in for the stream just because I can, just because I have that other webcam. And, you know, what to do with a second webcam but to make a keyboard cam, to make yourself look super elite for really no reason at all. Very exciting. Let me also put on some music before we get too much further into the stream here. Need an APM HUD element. I agree with you. I need some more HUD elements, dude. Okay, we're going for the Sherman drink. Okay, last time I noticed that my background music was way too loud, so I'm gonna turn that baby down, and you guys just tell me how you feel about the sound while we go, and we can adjust it. We can do whatever we want. I just want to paste this up into the chat because this is just a great it's a great channel. It's got a lot of good stuff on it. A lot of fun things to listen to on here. Okay, so check this out. Actually, I have a quick problem to fix, which is that it's now too loud in my headphones too. So I gotta turn it down here. Listen to that. Just sounds great. Okay, we're gonna keep it at this level for now. Okay, so what are we doing today? We're going to continue on an important and exciting project for me and hopefully for you. It's still too loud. I have to say. Whatever the Super Mario World streamers do for their sound volume, it's perfect. I love it. So relaxing. You hear their voice, but mostly you hear that good video game music. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to be working on continuing to convert usages of libpq, the old school Golang driver for Postgres, into usages of PGX, the newer school driver for Postgres in Golang. Here are some things that I've learned so far about Go modules and PGX together. I said that backwards. I buried the lead, which is that one terrible thing about the new version of PGX, which we need for various reasons, is that it needs Go modules. We've been working hard on making Go modules work in CockroachDB. Soon enough, very soon in fact, this will be a reality. It's going to be really exciting. And so what I've done before the stream is I've rebased this patch to upgrade to PGX on top of the work that we've been doing to add the Go module support. So hopefully things will be relatively smooth sailing, and we can mostly just sit around refactoring stuff and chatting, which is sort of that's the dream, I think. Refactor and chat. That's kind of the Netflix and chill of this channel. Refactor and chat. So, right, I think there was one little thing that I didn't finish, which is to resolve all these baby little conflicts here, which are really not big of a deal conflicts. So we can do that all together. Basically, I think what happened was that git edit is that, like, what does this mean to you, right? It means that you edited some of these, I don't know, the dependencies changed a little bit, but it's really the same. Like, this is the sort of thing where it's like, I wish I could tell Git to work in like additive mode or something like that, where it kind of takes both sides even though they're sort of touching up against each other, if they're just additive. And is that maybe already what it does? I don't know. In any case, I think that would be nice, and I can't do it right now. So here we have a problem of like, I mean, it's just like, oh, you know what you can do is actually think you could just delete all of the conflict markers completely, because like Go will just redo the imports for you if you ask it to. It's kind of convenient. So I think if I just delete all that and press save, it'll add me the right imports back. A very convenient thing to do in Golang. Convenient, fun, pleasant. You know, I mean, this is actually reminding me of something that I was also considering doing on stream today, but I decided not to in the end, which is try to improve the code generator that we use for some of the execution code in the database. Basically, we wrote this really over the top. Oh my God. What is going on? Veiled Threat Veil has subscribed to tier 1. Thank you, Tim. You are the man, and I appreciate you. I need to come up with some dank rewards for you guys because I don't know. I don't deserve you. Thank you. Hooey. Yeah, man. I need to make some emotes. There's a lot of things I gotta do now. Happy Friday to you too. Nice to see you. MD Layer, what's up? We're just having a good celebration here. We're celebrating some, you know, large DB blur. We're celebrating our affiliate status. We're celebrating my nice friends buying subscriptions for me for no reason. And we're celebrating, you know, sort of springtime as well. One problem with this emote prefix, you guys, is that my emote prefix has a 1 in it. Is that normal? Can I fix that? It's like large DB1. It's like, okay, this is kind of sad, to be honest. Okay, so in any case, what I was gonna say is that this import business, right? Go is pretty cool because it will do your imports for you if you ask it to. One thing I wanted to do, if this wasn't gonna work out, which I think it is gonna work out, so yeah, we have this code generator, right? It kind of takes in these templates. The templates are sort of questionable, but they do work. But one of the things that we have to do that's really irritating about them is sort of have these like hacky fake imports all over the place. Oh my God, Matt, thank you. Thank you for the subscription. You guys are ridiculous. You guys are ridiculous. I appreciate it a lot. Don't even know what to say. I need to work on my patter for this moment. Stare into the camera, say, thank you, MD Layer. Like that. Tire screen was covered in confetti. I can't help you with that. I didn't do that effect. But it sounds dope. Yes. That is what I should say. MD Layer, thank you for opening a savings account at the large data bank. Wait, what did I call my energy? Large data banknotes. Is that good? Is that funny? Help me with comedy. My comedy skills are not really up to par. I'm not gonna lie. $4.99. When are the returns coming in? What does that even mean, bro, Hunster? I don't understand. Oh, I see what you mean. The returns are coming in now, dude. Yeah, you guys, if you're not following... are you Bro Hunster on Twitter? If you're not following Bro Hunster on Twitter, follow this man. He writes some good blog posts. Some interesting blog posts about database technology. 100 in the first year or you're terminated? Are you serious, dude? Like permanent termination? That's honestly super funny. Okay, I'm working through these cherry picks that there's these commits called like derp. Pretty sure that was in the contract. I didn't read that contract. Oh man. I wish that there was a little utility where you could just ask Go to just generate all the imports again for you. Wouldn't that be nice? That would be nice. Because this is just mindless at this point. Also, we can't stream to YouTube concurrently. Oh, you can't use that like restream.io stuff? Eh. I like the Twitch feel better anyway. Don't you? Wait, this is GoMod. So GoMod is now looking pretty hot. I'm not sure whether this should be direct or indirect, so I'm just gonna keep it as indirect and kind of see what happens. GoSum I'm gonna leave alone because realistically it'll get regenerated. Live content has to be Twitch exclusive for 24 hours. Yeah, I'm gonna have a real hard time keeping my paws off of restreaming this stuff to all my faithful subscribers on my other channels. Let me tell you. I think that Twitch can own all of this stuff forever. I have no problem with that. No problem with any of this. Okay. Fix these. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. This feels like a regex. Feels like a regex, and yet here's something that's different. Why did this cherry pick change? That's kind of weird. What happened here? So somebody, I think, actually modified this file in CockroachDB. That's what I'm reading. This is no longer just my happy little playground. Somebody actually changed something, and I have to integrate it. Looks like they added this. How do you guys like these three-way diffs, by the way? I know we've got some big fans of three-way diffs in the chat. I'm a huge fan myself. Oh yeah, this is when I was doing this embedding stuff. So I guess I'm gonna keep this or something. Absolutely cannot stand them. Okay, so but how do you know? Okay, here's what I truly don't understand, you guys, and explain this to me. If you do not have the middle thing, and you know what the middle thing is, right? This is the state as it was in the common, most recent common parent commit of the two sides. If you don't have this, how can you actually figure out what the other side changed as opposed to what was there? Okay. All right. So here, down here, this is the change. This is how it looks on my cherry pick branch thing on the bottom. In the middle is the common ancestor. And on the top is what was changed on master. I'm integrating into master. Somebody made this change versus the middle, and I've made this change versus the middle. You know? I don't know. How do I explain that? To be honest, it's not really helping me figure out what to do here, but maybe that's because I'm talking at the same time. So like in this particular example, what we can see is that somebody renamed exec context to be exec without the context. And what I've done is I've done something else. I've changed exec context to reference tx.exec since I've been upgrading the PGX version. So this is kind of nice. What I think I want to do is grab this, I think, and put it up here. This is like taking the thing that I did and adding it to the new signature that somebody else did upstream or whatever. You know, I think it makes sense. We'll see. We'll see if it works out. I think I have to do that like a bunch of times too. Oh, but you know what's really nice is that it looks like somebody did some of this context threading for me in the meantime. So in the last week, somebody made my life a little bit easier. And we can actually thread this context through, which is the dream. Somebody actually turned me on recently to using the resolve conflicts view in Goland, which is pretty good. I hadn't used that before. And I've been doing it a bunch on sort of some of the bigger conflict resolutions I've done. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. Speaking of context threading, I threaded a context through the entire type checking usages. That is epic. I owe you a code review on that. It was the worst hour and a half on your life. You should do it on stream. It soothes the pain of repetitive actions. It really does. All right, so here we've got somewhere where we just need to noops. I guess we just want to add CTX to this or something. I'm just warning you that I will not stop until I infect my colleagues with the feeling of wanting to stream. I want that to happen for us. It'll be so fun. It'll be so fun. Okay, so here I've threaded a context down below and they have added a better error. So I'll take both of them. Yeah, man. Null bitmap. I guarantee that null bitmap's query engine stream will be the best query engine stream there is. I'm excited for it. You guys should pre-follow him for real, because I expect good things to come out of it. Brohanser, I'm not an interesting programmer to watch. I just sit there confused for a while. The trick is that literally everybody is like that, and you just have to like talk for some reason. And I think, it's just like pair programming, rubber dumping. As you talk, it'll be easier. You'll understand what you're doing. If you try to explain something to people, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that understanding. The key is to lean into it and think out loud. That is totally it. Okay, so I'm taking the top. I'm threading context into the top part of the diff. That's like what this strategy is here. Imagine if you had like a little like code helper AI. You were like, code helper, please resolve these conflicts by threading context into the top part of the diff. That would be sick. I would pay for that. Yep. Cool. I'd be a John Blow style streamer though, where I tell everyone who posts in the chat that they're a dumbass though. I haven't watched his streams too much, but when I have, he hasn't talked to the chat much at all. Maybe I was watching on the wrong day. But he's popular, man. As soon as he jumps onto Twitch, he gets like a gajillion, he gets like hundreds of people watching. It's amazing. People love that man. People love that man and his compiler. Okay, thread context into the top. All right. Okay, we did it. Every time I remember his Twitch name is Naysayer88. Yeah, it's good. It's good. He's such a naysayer. What a naysayer. Get cherry pick continue. John Blow, if you're here, I love you, man. Safe, how you doing? We are just doing a little bit of getting back into the flow of things in a sense. We're doing our exercises. We're doing our warm-ups. And in this context, a warm-up means threading contexts and rebasing old PRs onto new master. I think that, yeah, I don't know, man. I think that there's a future in people leaning really far into like funny live video edits with like better, yeah, exactly. Nice transition. Thank you. I had a fun time thinking about it. I think that there's a future of nice transitions, nice soundboard things. Like what if you made a little mistake and you played like a funny clip, like, oh, I would watch that. It's like all Korean TV shows. Okay, what is going on here? Okay, so here what happened is that we changed things to stop returning an extra argument, and they changed things. Okay, so I guess we just delete this extra argument they're returning. This is just probably not going to compile after we're finished mangling everything, but that's all right. Down here, yeah, so we delete this nil, whatever it was. Don't really remember. I need a marquee with cockroach tweets. I think that's, I like the idea, but I also hate the idea. I think I need a marquee with something. Here's something I want to do. I want to put the music. People are always asking about my dank playlist. And yeah, I don't know what else I want. Some good stuff. I think putting cockroach tweets, that's just, it's too on the nose, man. It's too on the nose. I'm already too much of a shill, you know, like way too much of a shill. It's embarrassing. So here they're just checking for driver.errorbadcon. That's what I'm doing. Wait, they've changed to errors.is and I've changed to remove nil. Okay, so I keep errors.is, remove nil. Okay. Now here we have a case of also removing nil. Very exciting. SQL TXN shim, I don't know what this is about. Some people put chat on stream, would be worried about people posting horrible stuff, it's distracting. Yeah, so I did that for a bit and then I got rid of it because it like doesn't really fit on my screen and it's also just like, I don't know, it just seems like kind of pointless. Like I don't have enough, like robust enough chat. I feel like, I mean, you guys are really robust and great, but sometimes I feel that people like it for the memes more than like the content in a sense. I don't know, maybe not though, because I do put these on YouTube and maybe people, I mean, look, realistically, nobody's gonna watch these on YouTube and read the chat. It's just not gonna happen. So I think it doesn't matter. I think it's better to keep it clean, baby. Keep it clean. Delete that nil. Here they've added errors. That is, and I have changed it to add a context.todo and pass in args with var args, question mark. Looks like I've added context.todo to this close thing. And they've added errors.is, so I can keep all of that. And here things have changed quite a bit. Here I've just removed all of this complexity. They're checking for isBadCon, errBadCon. I just always close. They do something with reconnecting. That seems like probably important, realistically. Let's just delete it. Let's just delete it. Okay, just a few more, just one more. Happy Friday, Cypher, what's up? How you doing? Happy spring. Happy spring, happy keyboard cam. Making this connections, null bitmap and Cypher. Something happening in the chat. With a, got that PogChamp. Here we've got a situation where, what is happening here? Here I've changed things to be an iterator, probably something like that, and they've changed things to use errors.is. So I want to keep the errors.is thing and get rid of everything else. The new Jordan Pogano. Yeah. It would need to be L large. What is it? I forget. My emote prefix is terrible. It has a number in it. Okay, what's happening? Did that work? Did that work? Get at 8.9. Hit that continue. Okay, baby, we good. Let's see if this compiles. And then maybe we can leave Vim. Oh God. Okay, so go.mod is broken. That makes sense because I forgot to resolve all those conflicts. We're gonna just take the newer ones. Seems fine. All sorts of weird stuff. I'm unhappy about this. Realistically, I'm very unhappy about this because changing this stuff I feel like is going to cause big problems. Well, maybe we just... Looks like a lot of this is duplicated. Except Go is a TTY became 009. Go overalls. I think it'll be good. Let's try again. This is also, by the way, no, wrong number of fields. Okay, what is that? Go.sum 297. Wrong number of fields. It just has conflict markers in it. I feel like if I just mess up with go.sum, it should be fine. It'll just like regenerate it, I hope. I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works at all, as you guys probably can tell. Yeah, me neither. Me neither. It is truly terrifying. There is some good news. I was just gonna tell you though. I was just gonna tell you guys something exciting, which is that today is the very first time that we have a fully working Go modules build for CockroachDB. It's not merged yet, but it's exciting. I'm really excited about it. It's gonna make a lot of things easier. I don't know if you've ever used dep, but it's slow. It's so slow. Go modules is much faster. It's gonna be confusing, but if we can push through that confusion, we're gonna be happier. I never added dep to Cockroach because I was scared of all of this stuff, even pre-Go mod. Yeah, I mean, I think that the like lock file stuff. So here's how it works. There is a nice abstraction at the core, which is that both in dep and in Go modules, you have this lock file, which is versioned, and it keeps track of the precise versions of all of your dependencies. So no matter what you do, you can't really screw it up that badly if you look at the diff of the lock file, which I think ultimately is a nice thing. It makes me a bit less scared of screwing stuff up given that knowledge. But I don't know. It is pretty complicated still. So I won't need GoPath for Cockroach. Is that how Go modules work? You don't need GoPath when stuff has Go modules? That's news to me, but that would be super cool. Wait. PGX helpers. I remember this file. This is an important friend file that was a big pain in my butt last time I was doing this. Probably I just screwed up that cherry pick thing. Actually, let me ask you guys a question. Here, I did something kind of questionable earlier, which is that, so I had this new rebased branch that has all the Go module stuff on it. And my last branch that had all of this PGX upgrade stuff was on an old version of the Go modules branch. And so what I wanted to do is move all the commits from the old PGX branch onto the new Go modules branch. And I didn't want to check out the PGX branch and git rebase onto, because that would like screw up my entire like package path and like make everything recompile and stuff. So I just did a cherry pick, which felt dirty. Is that right? Do you guys know a solution for this that uses rebase onto without having to check out the branch before the rebase? That is my question for you. That was one of the main concepts when they introduced GoMod. Okay, I'll take your word for it. For me, it's just about having native package management, but I guess it could be cool to try to do better with GoPath too. I don't mind GoPath. I used to kind of hate it, but I don't mind it anymore. Okay, so that fixed. What happens now when I try to compile this buddy? All right. PGX redeclared his imported package name. That's cool. But what does it mean? It means that we have duplicate imports. No problem. No problem. Easy to fix that. Claiming these banknotes keeps you on your toes. What do I do with them exactly? I don't really know. I think you can enable this thing and then you can like set up channel rewards and stuff like that. I didn't do anything, so it's whatever the defaults are. You can redeem them. The cool people all have like, you know, redeem 10,000 points and the streamer will like dab or something. I think dabbing is like a Twitch meme that I don't really understand. Everyone's like, oh my God, I finally dabbed on camera for the first time in 15 years. I don't know. It feels like a little bit behind the times, but I'm not too sure. So what's the deal with this exactly? This is, I thought I fixed this. Now I'm a little bit confused because this is definitely something that I was fixing last time, right? So let's look at our, so let's do a diff between, I guess what I want to do is take a diff on my old branch and then see what I changed in that file or something. Okay, so git log failed pgx migration. I just love that branch name. It makes me feel so good about myself. So I want to do git diff failed pgx migration go mod attempt or something. That is such an experience. That is such a mood. Oh man. So wait, there was this time when, I guess on Discord, there's like a thing where people have a red dot emoji to like make fun of people who @here too much or something like that. And we wanted to add a red dot emoji to Slack to also do that. But then we got a little bit nervous that that would be a little bit like passive aggressive, too passive aggressive for like a professional situation. So I don't think it ever happened, but I feel that. What was I doing? I was looking at the diff. SQL util. You did add it? Okay. Well, I guess we just maybe never used it because of fear of being too passive aggressive, which is never a good thing to do at work. You guys, let's be real. You never want to be passive aggressive. Even on Discord, I don't know. Like, is it good to be passive aggressive ever? I think probably not. But I respect when other people do it, right? That's what somebody else is going to take that, be aggressive like that. Okay, so here's what I did, right? I changed. Wait, is this a forward diff or a backward diff? This is like a backward diff. Backward diff is like a confusing concept. Wait, next, okay. Okay, so what I did is I changed this from taking values, driver.value to being a slice of interface. That's it. Okay, all I have to do is change that and I think everything should be fine. Not a big deal. Not at all a big deal. Let's give it another shot. Oh, you guys, I have an announcement about a problem that I was having last time and I could not figure it out on stream. It's really funny. It's actually super, super hilarious. Let me show you. It's about this query method, which is somewhere. PGX helpers probably has a call to query, right? No? Lord, I'm not prepared for my demo. Where do people do queries? This is crazy. Okay, how about payment.go of TPCC? Surely that does a query. Okay, query row TX. That runs query row. Okay, so here's this crazy stuff, right? This is PGX v4, and I was complaining, if you remember, I was complaining that PGX v4 doesn't allow you to pass in those parameters that talk about configuration of the query, like what format do you want the rows back in, and other such things. Because look, check out the arguments. There's CTX, there's SQL, and there's args. That's it. And args are presumably the placeholder arguments, right? Well, as I found out, it's actually, the plot thickens. If I jump deep into this thing, it turns out that in reality, these args are not just placeholders. They're also arbitrary options. Like what? So you can pass in this thing, query result formats by ID, query simple protocol, as like format options in the regular placeholder argument array. So it's like this sort of dynamically typed craziness. I don't know. I think that that's scary. Maybe it's ergonomic because nobody ever uses them. And so like it's better not to like have special parameters for them, but I don't know, man. I question that. I feel like it would have been better to just have a helper, like a query with options, and just you know, have that. Anyway, that was perplexing for me for a long time. I'm glad I figured it out, but also a little bit disturbed. Okay, so back to our problems. Dump.go 69 nice. Our problem is that this needs to be var args or something? No, this needs to be an interface and not driver value. Right? Yes. This. This, I feel suspicious that I did the rebase wrong. It's somebody's passing in a TS, which I guess is a, what is a TS? And how come it's not in scope at all? That's a mystery, a true mystery. So we can look at our old diff again. And this is dump.go. Is protobuf? Is it? Is it? But how would you know that? How would you know that? So here's what we had before. It seems to be a string, my dude. It seems to be a string, my dude. But this is a different one from the one that we changed. This is fetch columns, names, and types. Fetch columns, names, and types. So we didn't change. What? So maybe if we look at what this looks like, git show this colon, what is this file? Package CLI dump.go. And then this is line like, no, we can just search fetch columns, names, MD basic metadata. So somehow I like, oh wait, no, that's the right thing. So TS is just gone in this branch. That's what I'm actually seeing. So whatever I did in the rebase, I kind of screwed something up, and we no longer have to care about whatever TS used to be. Great, okay, fine. No problem. Next problem is that whatever this thing is slightly broken looking. So column types is a map of string to types.t, and calls is actually a field description, right? I remember this. Okay, so this is just we return name, and I guess we have to stringify it. Since it is a byte array. Okay, so that's all of the errors in that file. Maybe we can actually manage to build this time around. This looks promising. We go link. We're gonna do that thing where we complain a lot on stream about how slow linking is on stream. I'm ready to complain. I feel like linking is extremely slow on stream, much slower than off stream. Irritating, problematic. You guys, I almost set up. I actually have a story to tell about, ready for this? I have a story to tell about OCaml. OCaml is used to make this thing called Unison, I think, which is a file syncing program of some sort. We have some internal tooling that syncs files from your local machine to like a worker, so you can do your development sort of locally, but then compile on the worker. But I couldn't figure out how to compile it because my local Mac was compiling this thing with one version of OCaml, and the one that was in the packages repo or whatever on Linux was on a different version of OCaml. And apparently if you compile Unison with two different versions of OCaml, they're just completely incompatible. It's crazy. Crazy. I don't like it. That's how protocols work, baby. What? What are you saying? What are you saying? Okay, wait, I think it compiled. I think I forgot what I was doing while I was shouting, and I typed GS and got confused, but it compiled. Why would you write system software in OCaml? I don't know. And then all of a sudden you have like OCaml as a dependency everywhere and you get really confused, or at least I do. Okay, so what was the goal of all of this, right? The goal was that we wanted to see if we could run the actual CLI with this new fancy thing. You will screenshot. You can use clips for that, right? If you want to become really proficient with Twitch, I think the idea is that you're supposed to clip stuff. But I don't know, man. You tell me. You tell me. If your browser was compiled with a different GCC than Twitch TV, you can't connect. That is a world that I would love to live in. It would be really, really terrible. But everybody would be good at GCC, maybe? Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run cdemo and see if anything works. All right, nice. Well, things did not work, as you can see, but this is big progress. This is big progress. This is the first edition of PGX running against CockroachDB, which is kind of cool. You're gearing up to publish your first crate? Nice. Oh my God. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm behind the times is how I feel. I feel jealous. I want to publish a crate. What's your crate do, dude? Driver value is pointer to string, not string. All right. Well, did that just change everywhere or something? Is that the problem? Refresh database name. Seems like we just cast this thing to string. Oh, did I say it backwards? We got a pointer to name, pointer to string now. It's a Rust port of data driven. I saw that on your GitHub. I figured that, so I guess it's not the case that if you publish something to GitHub, it automatically goes to crates. I don't know how crates work in the slightest. Danky Kang, what's poppin'? Anybody here knowledgeable about network and security and VPNs? Not me. You can install crates from GitHub, but it's not how you're supposed to do it. Is there like a special, I guess you publish to it like NPM or PyPy or whatever. I think that makes sense. I think it's sketchy to install stuff right from GitHub the way Go does it. Go. Danky Kang, we're doing database programming here. I think that you should know about these things if you're a good database programmer, but I may not be up there. I don't know much about security stuff. I'm getting hacked. Somebody save me. I'm sorry about that. You should contact a professional. I'm not a professional. I actually, there's one really good way to de-hack your computer, and it's just disconnect it from everything. You know, just like pull that plug, hit that Alt F4, turn it off, just slam your laptop in fright. I think I did that in high school. I got scared people were hacking me, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta stop whatever I'm doing. I feel like people used to be way more into like, you could like telnet to servers and stuff. And that was like, okay, so things are like kind of working, except everything looks completely broken. Like super hella broken. Look, I can select stuff, but it all just gives me back null. I gave them my social security. Maybe they'll leave me alone. When I worked with Andy Pablo, he was like, don't talk to me about security. And I ran with that line ever since. Andy Pablo is a funny guy. I want to see Andy Pablo on Twitch. When is he going to get a Twitch stream? That would be really amazing because his videos are already hilarious. And I think he would be good live. So everything is fully broken, you guys. That's exciting because that gives us something to work with. I think what we need to do is probably track down where the CLI is sending stuff. And you don't think he would do that? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? I feel like he might. He's funny, you know? I guess you know him. I don't know him. I'm just guessing what he's like based on his public persona, which is probably not what his private persona is like. Okay, run query and format results. This sort of seems like the thing that we should be looking at, right? The question is, where do we actually... Oh, it takes a function. A fun. Run statements, make query, conduct query, query parameters. Okay, so this is where I want to kind of log, probably. My major is computer information systems, so yeah, I need to know a lot about databases. This is SQL, yes, this is SQL. This is, so what we're working on, and you can type !CockroachDB to find out more, but this is a distributed SQL database called CockroachDB. It's a really great database, but we're hacking on it. I work for the company that makes it. And what I like to do on stream is work on some kind of fun projects in the database. Okay, so we're gonna print out the query and the parameters and see what we actually did. You're a hacker, you're hacking me. I don't know what to say, Danky Kang. I just don't know what to say to that. I do not at all know what to say about that. Which is better, Cockroach or Yugabyte? I can wait. I'm not gonna get into that, but there's some good blog posts on it on the internet. There's some good blog posts on the internet about that. I don't want to get into any battles, any holy wars, you know? That would be impolitic. I think the word impolitic is a great word and underutilized. So yeah, you know, we linking. I think it would be really cool, you guys. Here's something that I wanted to do for a bit, but never gotten around to doing. And let me be real with you guys. I'm juggling too much at the same time right now. And I think it's because of this stream. I have severe monkey brain when it comes to stream projects. It's hard to complete something because realistically, this is my time to do stuff. And it's really hard to complete a project on stream. It's really, 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 really hard. Okay, so I'm sending select 4 and not any parameter. Wait, so that is sort of what I expect, actually, to be honest. This sort of seems good to me. So this sort of implies that the problem is parsing the results, not sending the stuff. Anyway, I was kind of saying that like monkey brain is causing me problems because I want to do new fun stuff on stream, but it's hard for me to finish it. So the other fun project that I'm going to mention and not work on, I swear, is making the Cockroach SQL CLI a standalone binary. Wouldn't that be nice? Because then you could just compile it. You could play around. You wouldn't have to compile and link this entire giant multi-100 megabyte database thing. It would be a little bit quicker, a little bit better. I don't know. I want to do that at some point, maybe. So what was I saying? I was saying that the problem is in the results. So I want to check out what happens after we run this query, right? We get these rows back. And then we do, I think, except we're probably, let's see, what does this do? Run query and format results. We run our function. We run our function. We get this rows iterator thing back. And then we have to kind of look at what we're doing wrong parsing this thing. That's fine. That's fine. New typing cam, yeah. I thought that I could just do something with the old camera that I had before I got this like way too overly fancy one. So I figured I'd just stick it on my fingers and let you guys, I don't know why you'd want to watch this, but it's sort of amusing. That's what we do with Vitesse. Each component is its own binary. That's cool. I think that there's reasons why it's nice to have a single binary, especially for the backend, right? It's like when you install something, you guys, you want it to be a single binary. It's way easier for operators, especially when you're just trying something out. But when it comes to developing, I think it could be nice to have two components. Could be nice. Kind of want to do it. All right, so no rows hook, we can skip that. Calls gets column strings. Is that working, by the way? If I said create table a int, if this is a statement, what's gonna happen here, by the way? I don't know. So that works fine. And then if I said select star from a, is it gonna give me back the column string, right? It does not give me the column string back either. So that's sort of problematic. We need to fix that. We need to fix two things. We need to fix the column strings and we need to fix also, it might actually just be the column strings given no rows in the table because that's sort of a special case. I bet if I do this and then do it, I'll get the column name back. Yeah. See, this is a little bit irritating. That's okay. I think that's what this no rows hook is about. I think in our no rows hook, we also have to say rows dot columns and then populate the thing. Why don't we fix that first? Because I think I know how to fix it. When we run get column strings, I think we actually have to run this at a different time after we've called next for the first time, because that's just how the protocol works, unfortunately. It's unfortunate. I really have to say that it's unfortunate because we're gonna have to plumb this thing all the way down into render. Really not good. Really not so good, honestly. I guess what we could do is potentially think about changing sort of the arity of the nextiness in a sense. So right now, sorry, that was totally unclear, but basically what I'm trying to say is this iterator, it works in a special way. When you say next, that gives you the first row. You say next and you can read the row that changed. But I think what maybe I would want to do is switch it so that you can read first before calling next in a sense. So the client, from the client's perspective, the flow is like read row, then call next, read row, then call next. And then behind the scenes, the driver is actually going to next itself once the very first time. Because otherwise I just don't know exactly how I'm gonna, unless I could thread a callback through to keep track of the column names. Maybe I'll just do that. That's probably the lazy way out. We already have all these kind of gnarly callbacks. This no rows hook, I think, is a callback that we passed in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, actually that makes me think maybe what we should really do is change this no rows hook to be like a first row hook. Or is this, no, you do need to actually run this on no rows. All right, well, let's just make a first row hook. Even though that feels kind of disgusting. First rows hook is equal to, so we're gonna define an anonymous function that's just gonna return error. And what it's gonna do is it's just going to set the column strings. So very straightforward. I mean, like this, rather. I think we're gonna say var calls string, I guess. I mean, realistically, I think it would be better to just pass around the field descriptions instead of these strings, so then we wouldn't have to do all this copying. Oh, but we want to format them too. Okay, so I guess it's fine. We're doing some formatting, we're doing some stuff. So we do want to copy these things out. We're gonna set this here in our first row. First row hook, we'll call it. And then I guess we also want to set it in our no rows hook. Does that feel so gross? Or do we want to call first row hook no matter what, even if we don't, if we get no rows or something? I don't know. So this can't even return an error, so let's get rid of that. I don't know. Let's try passing it in and sort of see what goes down. So we're gonna add a new parameter, which is our first row hook. And we're going to add func as seventh parameter. Seventh parameter. It's kind of screaming parameter object to me, but hey, we can get to that later too. So we can call this first row hook. And we're gonna call it when we call next for the first time, right? Right? It's kind of deep. It goes all the way down up in here. So we go all the way down to get next row strings. It calls rows out next. Then we like quit out. So I think no matter what, if we call this, I think we actually have to do it even if there's an error. No, I see. If it's IOEOF, that indicates we're finished, and we want to not return an error but still get the columns or something like that. Yeah, so I guess. Oh, this is gonna need to change, by the way. I need to put a to-do here. To-do Jordan. We don't seem to be returning io.eof in the case of no more rows anymore. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's good. It seems like bad news, but so I think essentially we just want to say call our callback now, right? First row hook. I think I'm a little bit nervous that calling this callback before we quit in the case of error is going to lead to problems. But I'm just going to try it out and see what happens. So I think we're good to go. Let's make this thing and see what happens when we run it. What am I missing though? I feel like I'm definitely missing something still. Got your run statements. Wait, where was I? First row callback. You know, I wonder if I should turn off that little beeping noise. Is that annoying for you guys? Chime in if you feel annoyed by that beeping. If I hit like escape at the wrong time, tell me in the chat. Otherwise, I'll just keep beeping. Do you guys ever do the thing? Maybe this is just me being kind of weird, but sometimes I'm kind of grooving to some song in my headphones, absentmindedly kind of typing away, and I'll start like making that beep noise to the sound of the beat, you know what I mean? Beep, beep, beep. Okay, so something, wow. Okay, so I think what's happening here, the reason that this, wow, no, I don't understand this quite at all. So this somehow failed during compilation. How could that have happened? Oh, maybe it's because in order to generate these settings, we actually run CLI commands to generate settings. That is buck wild. That is buck wild. Okay, so let's try to see. Format table 219. Oh, maybe it's because I didn't set first row hook. Buck wild. I got that from you, my friend. I did. I really did. I didn't say it before you. Cool. Enjoy the work happy hour. Thanks for tuning in and also becoming the first subscriber. Everybody, put something in the chat for our first subscriber, no bitmap. Thanks, see ya, bye. So this gen, I think this is where we're doing it. It looks like we're running cockroach gen or something. And that's when we call render, and we're passing in nil for this first row hook. I think that's probably fine. So we just want to protect against this problem by not running anything if first row hook is not nil. If first row hook is not equal to nil, run first row hook. Okay, let's give it another shot. A little bit of silence while we link. A little bit of silence while we link. Oh, you know, now that I'm thinking, what if during linking, it's actually not as slow as I think, and something in the makefile is just calling this cockroach gen thing, and that's part of why it's so slow. That'd be interesting. Do you think that could be what's going on? I need to investigate that. Okay, so what's happening now is that we still don't get the column names. Unfortunate. Oh, it's because I didn't add to the it's because of this. It's maybe because of this. Is it because of this? We have to figure out what happens when you get no rows. That's just important. We get no rows. When you get no rows, we return nil nil. And that will say return nil nil here. No, we'll return nil IOUF. I see. So we just like reconvert it back into an IOUF. That seems a little bit odd. This is just like so layered. I don't know what all these different layers do. It's a little bit frustrating. But I think the point is that if error is equal to IOUF, we just have to call this no matter what over here. And also, by the way, you guys, we have to do it only the first time that we see it. Obviously, I'm sort of missing that. So we have to say something like var bool, var scene row bool. Scene row is equal to true down here. If not scene row and first row hook is not equal to nil. First row hook, set scene row to true. I think that will fix matters up a little bit. Let me ask you a question on a non-programming note while this links up. Did you guys watch the latest Summoning Salt video about Ninja Gaiden? That was absolutely insane, that video. Essentially, this dude who runs this game, old game, has just put in like 40,000 runs trying to beat his own time over the past like 5 years. And nobody has even come close to his record. And yet he still tries to do this like every day and records it on Twitch. He's called Arcus. It's crazy. It's really crazy. I really enjoyed watching that video, and I think you might too, just to learn about a different culture. Okay, create this table. Did I host him one time? No, definitely not. Definitely not. I just heard about him for the first time recently. I hosted, who did I host? I hosted The Wild Grim, who does Super Mario World stuff. This guy does a different game. Okay, so that still didn't work. I'm a little bit perplexed. I guess we can maybe stick some print lines in here. Stick some print lines in here. Maybe actually, if I try to solve the other problem at the same time, I'll figure out the solution to this problem too. So the other problem was that this CLI is just completely busted. Check it out. I ask for select one. It tells me that I have one row, but it prints nothing, and it also doesn't print the column name. So it's like, wow, it's not looking too good for me right now. First row hook. Where's that at? Here it is. Okay, so did I just not pass things in properly? Is that the problem here? First row hook is saying calls equals to get column strings. Do I reset this get column strings though? Because that could be sort of problematic. Looks like I do. I also call it in SQL rows to strings. So I guess no, I'm actually a little bit confused because actually when I run this function here, this query function, which is the thing that actually goes and calls con.query, I think that thing is guaranteed to call rows.next at least once already, because it doesn't know to quit until it calls rows.next, And if it gets IOEOF after calling rows.next, then it's going to give up. But in that case, I don't actually quite understand why this wouldn't have worked in the first place. So I need to dig into that. And I think to do that, what I'm going to do is get rid of this first row hook thing for a quick second and just print out what the state of the row variable is by the time that we get, this needs to be nil, by the time that we get to that printing or that column name resolution code that I was just looking at. I think maybe that will provide some enlightenment. Where was that though? Calls. SQL rows to strings, that's the name of this thing. Okay, so what I wanna do is here, I wanna print out what the deal is with rows dot columns, I guess. And I also wanna print out maybe some more state of the con, like rows.con. I wish I could print out like is closed. Yeah, that would be good to have. Okay, so let's try this out. This is really where I wish, maybe we could run some tests. I think we do have a bunch of tests for this thing. Instead of waiting for this whole recompile, why don't we just run some stuff like, what's a very basic one? Maybe test run query. Let's try this out. This is gonna be much easier, you guys. First of all, I guess I still have a declared and not used issue with first row hook. First row hook. Let's just comment this thing out for the time being. And I'm gonna run make test package, take test package equals package CLI tests equals, what was it called? Test run query, test run query. Okay. Hopefully this will be a little bit more fun, more pleasant. Less linking. By the way, you guys, I just want to say I have 99 followers right now. If you're not following and that makes you feel a certain way, I want you to click that follow button. Cannot use fetched type driver value as type interface in Rosetta. Oh, okay. So I guess I just have some tests that I didn't update as well. Twisted Mentat, thank you so much for the follow, and thank you so much for being my 100th follower. I really appreciate that. I want to look at you in the face and say thank you. Thank you. Twisted Mentat. Mentat. I like that as a name. So here I just need to be making interface like that, and then I think everything will be good. Yeah, maybe we'll have some other compilation errors in these CLI tests, since I didn't really update any of the test packages after that massive refactor. Yeah, so 819 in dump.go. That's kind of weird though, because I think that would have compiled already. So I wonder if it was just, yeah, I'm not so sure why that wouldn't have gotten caught by the original compile. So I guess unknown field type, blah, blah, blah. I guess I want to just pass in the name and probably up here as well, instead of the entire thing. Although here we're using %v, which in Go means print out all the fields. So I think we're good on that one. Gonna turn off that whiteboard. It's just been sitting there saying continuing the PGX grind for like an hour. It's sort of pointless. Okay, so here we go. This is good. This is good. We have a test that actually runs and it actually fails. So it's saying expected a bunch of stuff and got everything is null. So that is a better place to start than just running queries on the CLI and watching them fail over and over. So let's see, SQL util tist.go 158. And so this is saying, so what is the query that it's actually running here? It's saying show columns from system.namespace. The expected columns need to be this. So it looks like it is actually getting the expected columns back correctly, which means that at least for queries with more than one row returned, it gets those expected column names back, which is sort of what I expected. Kind of why I added that first row hook, but I guess I really need to be adding it to that no rows hook. Again, I still don't understand though, because we do call rows.next, and I thought that was supposed to be the thing that initializes it, but we can get to that later. The point is that the more important and scary and worst thing is that this just is, everybody's just coming up null in a sense. So we need to work on that. And where do we get these expected rows back? Where do we get the actual rows back is that we do this run query thing. It runs exactly our function. And if we go into make query and con.query, Premcache, thank you for the follow. If we go into this run query thing and check out what we're doing with the results, that is what we've got to do. Okay, so fetch the first row if it exists to initialize the return columns. Look at that. We even thought of it. Okay, so, oh, you know what's kind of funny? Oh, I see. So the thing that's probably buggy is SQL rows to strings, I guess. It looks like we print out the rows.columns, but they're all bytes, so we can't read them. And then we print out whether it's closed or not. We do get to see that the connection is not closed because we see this false here, which is good news. But somewhere in this get all rows strings, something is just going terribly wrong. And that is what we need to figure out. So we run rows.next of vals. And we're asking for a slice of interface. And I wonder if that is what has changed drastically in this big refactor. I think we are allowed to pass in interface here, right? Scan reads the values from the current row into dest values positionally. Dest can include pointers to core types, values implementing the scanner interface, byte slice, and nil. So I guess that doesn't actually include interface. I wonder if that could be the issue. Now, if I use this values thing, yeah, so he does seem to be inefficient to use this values thing because we're allocating on every call. So I'd rather not use that. So I do want to kind of figure out what's going wrong with this scan thing. What does values actually do? It makes a slice of interface, just as what we're doing. So, oh, but does it call scan or not? I guess it doesn't actually call scan. It actually reaches into the connections raw value slice and manipulates it by hand. It seems like it figures out the data type, the Go data type for a particular OID, creates a value of that type using reflection. Yeah. Is that what we want? What did we expect before? That's my question. What did libpq give us back in this situation? Exactly. That's how I feel. I'm not so sure about this. What did libpq do here? What if, oh my gosh, what if PGX and libpq both are bad in their own special different ways? That would be an unfortunate thing. I mean, I bet, hold on a minute. I bet that database, or how do I get to this thing in my editor? I want to see what happens when I run a libpq thing. This is just some test that I don't know what this does. kind of want to see what this guy does when you ask to scan, right? That would be sort of the thing to figure out. It's not in this file. I can just edit it on my computer. So go source lib, no, github.com/libpq/ what exactly? I guess we can grep for scan. Do I have the arguments out of order? Okay. So our scan implementation for libpq lives where? Or is this that thing where the driver actually implements something that isn't called scan? It's probably something like that. Let's look at con.go. I feel like I relearn this stuff constantly and then like forget it instantly because it's, I don't know why, it just doesn't stick in my brain. It's got to be in rows.go, right? Like that's the obvious place for it. Or no, rows.go. Column type, scan type. Where do we? It's not in rows.go. Okay, so con.go's got right buff, dial open. What if I just search caret func to give me all the different functions? It's got next. It's got skip spaces. Maybe it doesn't even have to implement this. Maybe this is what database SQL does. I bet that's what it is. I bet database SQL is the thing that does all of this weird stuff. And I bet it has to use reflection itself, honestly, right? It's gotta, because you do pass in these interfaces. This is the driver.value thing is. Okay, so here's something interesting, right? This is query. It takes in a bunch of args, which is a slice of driver.value. Driver.value is interface. So what happens to args? Who uses these? Exec of args, okay. What does exec do? Takes in this slice. It's called v here. For ix and range v, oh wait, are those the parameters though? Those are probably the parameters. And not the results. Okay, so what we really want to be looking at then is, yeah. I think what we want to do is actually look at how database SQL is implemented. I think that's what we want to be doing. So how are we going to do that? We're just going to click like SQL dot and wait until somebody imports the right kind of thing. Like the worst way of exploring Go code of all time, honestly. SQL. What if I just said import database SQL, call it SQL 2, and then down here I can say SQL 2 dot. Okay, so what does scan do? What does this do? This lives in libexec source database. Like, how is I gonna remember this? Okay, so it takes in these interfaces, checks the length, it runs convert assign rows, okay? This is looking very suspect. Very suspect. Did you make a deal to do Twitch streams of Cockroach development as part of my day job? If so, that is badass, I'm jealous. So Cockroach Labs has this really cool program called Flex Fridays, where I think it's supposed to be, it's kind of like 20% time-ish. There's a bunch of caveats, but generally the idea is that on Friday, you can kind of work on a project that's related to Cockroach, but it isn't your normal job if you don't want it to be. And so that's what I've been doing on my Flex Fridays, is this Twitch stream. I think it's a cool program. You should, wherever you're at, you should tell them, you should tell about it. There's some good articles about it. There's some good articles about it on our blog. I think it's been working out. I think people like it. I think people are productive. I think it's a good thing. Convert assign rows, copies to desk the value in source, converting it if possible. Because I think you just get a lot of innovation. You know, I think that, I don't know how successful this is at DevRail or something like that, but I think it's at least a little bit successful, right? Like people are, if they tune in for a bit, they see the word CockroachDB, maybe it's the first time they've seen that, you know, that's helpful. for somebody, the company. I don't want to just be a marketer, but I also like working on this project. That's the other truth. I'm lucky that I have a job where I like the thing that I'm doing. So I get to work on it on Friday. I think it's fun. It's also helpful for my job. So I don't know. It's a win-win. That's what I think. Convert assigned rows. It takes dest and source, which are both interface. Wait a minute. Okay, so what is DV? See, this is reflection, dude. Check this out. This is no joke. Database SQL. It uses reflection all up in this piece. Look at this. This is literally like re-implementing database casts on the client side, right? It's like, let's pick all of the things that can be casted back and forth from string to other data types and write them all right here. And if you forgot one, then sorry. Yeah. Types, man. It's they're hard to deal with in a language without without stuff like generics, I think. Okay, so what was I doing though? Before that major distraction, what was I doing? I was trying to see whether before we were passing interface, before we were passing driver.value, and somehow things just kind of worked. Here is hoping Ian Taylor's draft design he talked about last GopherCon is workable. I really just want generic container types. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, there's more that you could do with generics than generic container types. And I don't think that the proposal is going to give you those things. But generic container types, this is huge. It's very missing. Although I'm very curious for your perspective on this, because I was watching. So I have another friend, Paul, who's working on his own programming stream. He does Rust stuff. And last stream, he does it on Sunday morning. And last stream, he was working on explaining some of the different choices for vector types in Rust. And it's very easy in Rust, right, to make generic containers because it's like all built in, it's all easy, whatever. But what happened is that like they have all of these different, essentially standard library implementations. Like they've got a dynamic vector that works like this. They've got a dynamic vector that works like that. And you have to pick, right? Like when you do your project, you have to say, I want this one called tiny vector or something like that. And I'm not totally convinced that that's good. I think that it's good to have the flexibility, but I guess I would be nervous essentially that like Go adds generic containers and then people just go crazy adding all sorts of different generic containers with pluses and minuses, and it becomes chaos and nobody knows which one to use. So I don't know. I mean, I essentially hope that they add some good stuff to the standard library, because that's one of the best things about Go, right? The batteries are really included for the core things. And I would hope that they don't get rid of that philosophy. That was a rant. There's fragmentation in Rust, but the people writing those things try to stick to similar/same API so it's easy to swap. That's great. I didn't know that, but that's good. I mean, I think the Rust community is pretty strong. I'm impressed by them overall. But, and also what if you like start depending on TinyVac or whatever it is, and then they leave? They go away. That scares me. I don't know. I want to use Rust. That's the other thing. Like, I might have complaints, but I actually really want to learn Rust and use it in the project. So, no hate from me. I want to actually figure out what the heck is going on with this. I'm making a bunch of interfaces. Baman Shams, thank you for the follow. Rewrite CockroachDB with Rust. That is never going to happen. Did I share interpreterbook.com? Yes, you did. You did it in Rust. That's actually so smart. I really like that idea. Yeah, I think I mentioned I have like a hard copy or a soft cover hard copy of that book. And I've read it. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I do feel like I used to do a lot more random recreational programming around stuff like making interpreters, messing around, doing this, doing that. But I don't do that much anymore. maybe because it's, this database has so many different little interesting things to hack on that I feel like I don't have the need. I think that's part of it, to be honest. Monkey RS. Cool. That's awesome. I want to check that out. All right, here we go. Let's make some progress. We've made a bunch of vals. Let's just print out what the heck these vals are right here before we do any pre-processing, or post-processing, I should say. Life gets in the way and I go through phases where I just don't want to do programming inside of work. Do what feels right. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Okay. This is because I was just screwing around and added a thingamajig. I think one thing that's interesting about COVID for people is that they feel sometimes like they have more time. I mean, I shouldn't say this, right? Because it's a very privileged place to be able to have extra time during COVID. So I want to just say that. First and foremost, very privileged to be thinking about this. I will say, though, that for people who are lucky enough to have that privilege, I think some of them have been doing interesting projects, and I think that's cool. I know some people who have been doing more knitting, for example. That's not a programming thing. And I think that's really cool. So this is sort of seeming like this interface passing thing is just like not at all working whatsoever. 111111. What is up? This project is out of date, I have to admit. I'm gonna flash what my project is on screen. We're upgrading the internal database driver of this database, CockroachDB, to use another database driver. Talk about meta. It used to use something called libpq. Now it's going to use PGX. It's Go programming. We're doing it. It's a little bit grindy. It's a little bit okay, but welcome to the stream. If you do have questions, ask away. Meta programming, if you will. I'm totally struggling to understand what's going on here, though. So, come back. So I think we made it past here because we know for sure that we didn't get IOEOF. Did this database hire you to do this, or am I the developer for it? It's kind of, I guess those two questions sound like the same to me. I work for Cockroach Labs. It's the company that makes CockroachDB. And so I'm doing this stream for fun because I like working on the database and I like streaming, but they're not like telling me to do this in a sense, if that answers your question. It is an open source database. You should check it out. It's on GitHub. I think that's in the link down below, maybe in the stream. Also, if you're getting started programming, you guys, I do think that CockroachDB is a pretty good place to try out some systems programming. We have a lot of good issues for beginners that are there under the good first issue tag on GitHub. And yeah, we got a lot of helpful people who will try to help you get a PR landed in there if you want to try to do it. I think it's a fun thing to do. Thanks for the follow, 111111. I bet you get a lot of people struggling to say your name. I certainly struggled. So we run the scan. I think the next question is what happens here? Is this already broken? Is this already broken by the time we get to that? So let's get rid of this. Well, we can leave them both in. Everyone just says one however times they yeah. You wanted to troll me with a Yugabyte GitHub link so bad. Yugabyte is another distributed SQL database. There's more than one out there. There's a wide variety of distributed SQL databases, you know? Cockroach is not the only one that exists. I do think it's the best, but that's my personal bias, of course. And you should make your own interpretations. Okay, check this out. Look, when we run rows.scan, we don't get anything filled in. And that's like at the very connection-y level, which I feel a little bit confused about, honestly. I think it's time to use the debugger, you guys. You were talking, somebody was asking about using Delve. Check this out, MD layer. This is for you. I want to show you just how easy it is to use this Delve debugger from Goland. Noob question, does Cockroach support the Postgres IP address types? It supports just the IPv4 ones, I'm pretty sure. I can't run cdemo right now because I have this like broken state. Let me see. Cockroach v20.1.1. Am I wrong? I mean, that would be pretty dumb if I was wrong about that. What's the name of the type again? Let's see. Show. I guess I can find out. So select star from PG type. inet. We've got inet. Is it just inet? I bet we don't support inet, like, or inet 6 if that's what it's called. I just bet we don't. Maybe inet's both though. There's no inet 6 in here. That would be a great contribution. Talking about contributions, add inet 6. Hold on a second. Select star from PG type. inet 6. No, they don't have it either. They don't have it either. They have something called cider, but that's different. You know, I think we actually do support it. I think we do support it. I take it all back. I think inet can be either IPv4 or IPv6. inet data type Postgres. I'm pretty sure it has, yeah, check it out. It's got either an IPv4 or IPv6 host address. Fantastic. Cider we don't implement. I think that's what I was thinking of. We definitely don't implement cider. Just because nobody got to it. There's no strong reason. Okay, so anyway, let's do this debugging stuff, right? Test run query. Okay, just check this out. I'm gonna right click this thing and then click debug. And I also wanna set a breakpoint, right? I forgot to set a breakpoint, but I can even do this while this is compiling. It's pretty genius. So if I just hit a breakpoint, oh no, I already did set it. You just click in the gutter. I don't know, maybe you're used to doing this in other IDEs, but it's the same here. You just click in the gutter, you get a little red thing. And then once it compiles, usually it takes a little bit of time to compile, especially on such a big project. On a small project, this is not gonna take so long. So you get to watch my little neon cat progress bar. And possibly my stream lag while this thing like recompiles the world. I see my video is getting a little bit laggy because of this compilation. So you're not gonna have this problem on your 64 core mega computer, but I think the reason that this is happening so painfully is that this is the first time I've run anything with the debuggers since I switched to Go modules, so I bet it's just recompiling the entire world. I only know basic languages like Lua or HTML/Python. I will tell you that if you know Python, Python is a fantastic language that will serve you extremely well for learning any other programming language out there. It's a good language. It has all of the paradigms built into it. Well, that's not really true, but it's got many paradigms built into it. If you learn Python really well, once you switch to a different language, Golang is not a complicated language, for example. If you learn Python really well, it's not gonna be that hard for you to switch to a different language like Golang. So I think that's a good place for you to start. Lithium X, what's up? I know no languages my fingers do, however, they just assemble programs. We're kind of stuck in an interesting place. We are Golang. Yeah, okay, so it sort of seems like we are still just busy compiling this big debug, boring debug loop thing. But it's gonna be worth it, okay? Here's what we're doing. We're trying to try out Delve. We're trying to debug this problem I'm having using the debugger instead of print lines. And I think it's gonna be worth it even though this is gonna take like 5 minutes for it to finish getting started. I think it's gonna be worth it. Lithium, how are you doing? How are you doing? For me, it's kind of spring. I actually have my window open right now. In previous streams, my window has been closed. Lithium, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you so much for the sub. Really appreciate it. Today is the first day that I can have subs. And I've had so many people be so nice to me and give me a sub. I really appreciate that. It's so nice of you. Got sub, where's your badge? You got a badge, dude. Look at you. You're badged. I need to make emotes. That's the next step. That is the next step. MD Layer, have you done your emotes yet? I know you can now. taking forever. This is absolutely taking forever. What is it? Can I see a little log of what it's doing though? Event log. That's not right. I asked my artist friend to make some, but I was considering doing some really dumb MS Paint type stuff in the meantime. Oh no, this looks really bad. Maybe this demo is not going to work out after all. I think I know what this is. This is because when we switch to Go modules, there's some weird crap happening with libedit. There's something a little bit funked up. So it's not going to work today. It's not going to work today. I guess I could try running it from here, maybe? That could be kind of a fun experiment. How does it work? You should do some MS Paint type stuff. I think that it gives it more of a homemade feel anyway if you do it yourself. It's more fun, more exciting. Make it you know? I think pixel art's pretty hard, but you know, you can always try it out. So how does this work? Delve exec. So I guess I could, if I say make, if I say go test dash I package CLI, I think that's gonna, no? I think that's gonna build me the test binary for package CLI. And then I think I can run delve on it. And then I think we can try out some debugger stuff right from the command line, which is more fun anyway, right? Nobody wants to use a GUI. Paint 3D is good, but you wouldn't know it if you are Linux only. Go test dash C. What is go test dash I? Install test dependencies or something? Test, I think it's something about like go test dash H. I think it's something about like installing all the dependencies ahead of time. Go help test. Install packages that are dependencies of the test. Do not run the test. I don't know. I don't know why this is so slow. Like, so we use the dash I thing in our make file in order to like bootstrap an environment that can be reused across different invocations of the commands. In other words, like you can, if you wanted to build like a CI image that cached a bunch of dependencies, you could use go test I everywhere. Send me the parts list for a nice Ryzen desktop. Yeah, man, you should do that. Realistically, this is sad for me, dude. Like, what could it be doing? Let's find out. Let's find out. It's just like the most epic link ever, right? Is that what this is? Compile -O, and then like every Go file in the world. Your Angular app builds way faster on the fast core. What does it say about us? That we need fast CPUs to build apps. I don't know. It says that something's wrong. Dude, okay, this Go modules thing is busted. That's what I have to say. This is like, we worked through this for making the binary itself, but I guess not for making the test binary. That's like kind of problematic, actually. I don't know what to do. I'm not gonna be able to figure this out. A 15-minute build? That's crazy, dude. I don't even know what to say. What? Tell me more. Tell me more. Why does it take 15 minutes? In the meantime, we're back to print line debugging. We can do this delve thing another time. I promise you that one day I'll get this set up. It's very sick. A giant healthcare app works offline. Wow, that's really cool. I think there's a lot of tech going on in healthcare right now. That's what I've noticed based on my recruiting emails that I get. I feel like most startups in New York are like health tech startups right now. So how can we, this is gonna be kind of hard to figure out without the debugger, honestly. I don't know how we're gonna figure this out. Guess we'll just have to, because we have to really print out the internals of this rows iterator thing. Healthcare is way behind in tech quality. I think you're totally right about that. That's from what I understand. I think you're totally right about that. But I don't know. I actually wanted to use CockroachDB for my current project, but I settled on MongoDB. Ah, my dude. My dude, it hurts me. It hurts me to hear that. But tell me more. Why did that happen? Why did that happen? Why did you do that? What was your use case for Mongo? Why didn't Cockroach work? I want to hear. We use MS SQL, but I would love to use make a multi-tenant product. Why couldn't, I don't understand. What's wrong with MS SQL for multi-tenancy? For he said MS SQL, not MySQL. I mean, this is, what am I supposed to do here? Why would this potentially just return nothing, huh? This is like user research up in this Twitch stream. Sorry, I am on a tangent. Microsoft SQL is what we use for our healthcare product. I'm working on a side project myself and I'm using MongoDB. I wanted to use CockroachDB, was afraid of the learning curve. Interesting. Interesting. I'll say that MongoDB does have some hot things going for it because it's all JSON. I don't know. I think that makes a lot of sense. I hear your perspective. Are you used to SQL? If you're used to SQL, you're learning CockroachDB is not too difficult though. It's really just standard SQL. That's the dream. That's the promise anyway of CockroachDB. It's standard SQL on a distributed core. Coninfo.scan, huh? Can I edit this? What would happen if I just edit this? Is it gonna work? I think it should work, right? Oh, if D is equal to nil continue. I think the problem is that I just have made a bunch of nil interfaces. Is that not, am I not allowed to do that? Do I just have a slice of nil interface and I'm not allowed to do that? What am I supposed to do then? I would actually want to use it as the backbone of my next healthcare startup, but if I had some time and capital to build it. That's awesome. I think it would be a great fit for that project, probably. If you want to corrupt your machine, you can install MySQL and then install Vitess on it. Wow, dude, somebody's salty. Somebody's salty about Vitess. I can't imagine why. So what I want to figure out is what is a caller of PGX scan supposed to do, right? That's what I should be doing. I'm just chatting away, not figuring anything out in a reasonable amount of time. Where is my example? Where is my example? Scan reads the values from the current row into desk values positionally. Desk can include, oh right, we already went over this. Thank you so much, Lithium, for the gift sub to Saif. I really appreciate that. Saif, welcome to the paid part of the channel. You get a lot of benefits, let me tell you. You're gonna get a benefit right now. Except my keyboard shortcut's not working, but what up? Thank you. Thank you to Lithium. Familiar with Vitess. Oh my God, dude. What are you doing? Why are you buying us everybody gift subs? This is wild. Lithium, you're great. I don't know why you do this, but I appreciate you. Thank you. You're familiar with Vitess. Looked at the source code a long time ago. Looks like a big project. I think it is a big project. All databases have to be big projects. What are we supposed to be doing here? What are we supposed to be doing here? Why can I not figure this out? I like to support my peeps. That's awesome, man. You're the man. I don't even know what to say. You're the man. Give me a good example, right? Where is my good example? Do I have to just make a slice of interface and then actually have a backing thing behind it? Is that my problem? I feel pretty out of the loop right now with what I'm supposed to do. Everybody here, what they do is they actually ask for a concrete type, right? Name is a string. Do I need to pass a pointer to interface? Is that what's going on? I don't get it. I really don't get it. What if I were to pass I don't understand empty interface. That's another problem that I have. Because I can't like make one in a sense, right? It's a pointer. So there's nothing like for me to really make as a backing thing. I could pass in like byte slices, but that's not what I want. I do want the thing to automatically inflate it into Golang native types. I just don't know what the types are ahead of time is the problem. I mean, here's another thing. Here's another perspective. Another perspective is that when I call... No, yeah, I am actually reusing this slice of interface, aren't I? So I can't exactly credibly say I'll just ignore this problem. Where is like the main caller of this thing? I'm a little bit confused again. Get next row strings, right, back to this. So vals. No, I mean, look, we literally allocate it every time. There's no point. Let's just ignore this problem completely and use this like fancier values thing that actually does allocate, because we're allocating anyway. We're allocating anyway. Like, what is the point of all of this? I don't see it. I don't see it. Next, so we're gonna add a new method here. We're gonna say func r SQL rows values slice of interface error, probably. Yeah, this guy is the real MVP. There's no question about that. He's gifting subs all over the place. You even said this. I remember the first time that you popped into my channel, or was it Matt's channel? I can't remember which. We were all chatting, the three of us, and you were like, I love to give a lot of bits out. You said that, and I was like, huh. And look at you. You did not lie. You did not lie. Jason, what is going on? You've probably given 3 million bits out, dude. I have a budget every month for spending money on Twitch gift subs and bits. I don't know what happened. I don't think my thing... what's going on? What is going on? People are just giving out gift subs. Everybody's a subscriber now. I think that's what's happening. Everyone's a subscriber, and Lithium X is to thank. Thank you, Lithium, again. Jason, how are you doing? It's a spring day for me. I'm doing some refactoring. I'm having some fun. I hope it's a spring day for you. I'm hoping you're having some fun as well. You guys, Jason's also streaming. This is a little community of people who like to do programming streaming. That's what I'm sensing right now. You should check out his channel, give him a follow. He does some cool content. He does JavaScript, I think. We're gonna add this values thing, right? That's what I was doing. Where is the interface that we were calling before? Where is the interface that we were calling before? I'm getting so distracted by all of this fun. Too much fun having, too much fun. Okay, so it's not an interface, right? It's literally just, we're calling this thing directly. No. What? Yeah, so we just need to add this values thing, and we need to call it somewhere else. So we're gonna call r.rows.values. We're just gonna return it, right? We don't need to do any processing. I guess here what we do is we check a couple of things. We set reconnecting to true if we get a bad count. I guess we can just copy this stuff because I don't really know why one would need it, but we might as well keep it around. Okay, vals comma error is equal to this. We check the thing, we set the reconnecting up, and here we're doing a loop in order to what? What is this? We're saying for each of the things in the values that we scanned, if they're byte slices, append them to if they're bytes, oh, we're copying the bytes out. I guess maybe what this is saying is that maybe libpq overwrites the byte slices on each time that you call rows.scan or something like that. Could that be what's going on? And that's why we're doing this copying. In any case, I don't think we need to actually worry about it. I think we do need to grab this. And then we return our error and our vals. Okay, so we've got our fancy allocating as a bad citizen values implementation going on. But I think it's okay because all of the callers of this thing are bad citizens themselves, so we can afford to be bad citizens. because of the fact that we know that we're not doing any worse than our callers. So we're going to call r.rows.values. We're going to say vals error is equal to this. We're going to call it values. We're going to, wait a minute. No, this is the thing that we were just editing. That's not right. We're going to search for the caller of this thing. What did I just do? Let's undo all that. We want to search for the caller of this thing and edit him. So that's, I guess it was this one, right? That's this query row. Run query and format results is where we were at, right? I always get confused. I feel like what's happening is that whatever I'm looking for like lives in some random other file, and that's why I keep getting confused. Get all row strings, get next row strings. Here it is. Okay, so I call rows.values. I get my vals out. Vals error is equal to this. We no longer have to allocate this big slice, which was completely broken anyway. Let's print it out. We'll return it. We'll see what happens. We'll see if this is sort of fixing our problem. Yes or no. Run make test, see what happens. All right. Progress, question mark. I don't know, I'm a little bit concerned that whatever I just did with making the test binary, or maybe trying to run the test from Goland, has like destroyed some Go module cache thing. Like, I'm definitely still not fully understanding what's going on with these Go modules, and I don't don't understand what's going on here. Essentially, what I'm seeing is that I ran make test on this very same package a little while ago, and normally when you do that, it shouldn't do anything the next time you do it. It shouldn't have to recompile the world. But what's happening here is that we are recompiling the world in a bad way. We're like making node modules for some reason. We're like exec-genning a bunch of Go files. We're doing all sorts of stuff. I don't know why, but that is okay. Let's all right, solid. This is really good. This is really good. So we've made some decent progress, and we actually have some results that aren't all nulls anymore, which is the dream. And what are we saying now? The more magic the module system provides, the more this will happen. I'm looking at you, NPM. It's probably true. So we're saying show columns from system.namespace. This is printing out the column bytes, which I guess we can get rid of this print line because we know that we're succeeding at this sphere. And then we're printing out each of the rows that we receive. And it looks like what's happening is that we have an off by one thing where we are getting back the second row as if it's the first row, and the fourth row we're getting back is the fifth row, which doesn't exist. So I think that there's this off by one thing, and it has to do with that arity problem I was talking about before. It's like when we call next versus where we call values. So I think I know how to fix this. I am literally hand drawing terrible Go Linux emotes for my stream tomorrow. That's awesome. I think that it's going to be great, actually. And don't knock your art skills until you try them? Question mark. You're not artistic, but it'll be funny. Yeah. Okay, so let's check out this test though. The test that we're failing lives over here in SQLutilTest.go. And we have some expected output. The expected output is supposed to be parent ID, and then name, and then ID. And what we're returning is, oh, actually, so it's slightly different from what I thought. We're returning the right thing, I think, for the first three rows, but then we're returning back an extraneous fourth row that's empty. You're gonna say something bad. The gopher is not good art, in quotes. What, you don't like this adorable gopher that they just like refresh? Look at it, so cute. It's a cute little buddy. It's a cute little buddy baby, gopher baby. I like it. In fact, I miss the old website. I don't know if you guys remember the old Golang, but I miss it. This is like, it's good too, but I miss the old one. All right, so why would we be getting an off by one thing? I bet it has to do with returning this IOEOF stuff. So first of all, let's get rid of that old print line thing that we were using because I think it was busted and pointless. Let's look at our git diff. Yeah, this guy I want to get rid of because it's messy. Run query and format results. Run query and format results. Print line. Come back. Where are you at? The old website, I made it, well, Wikisystem and ripped off their CSS. Yeah. I read a tweet today that was like, good programmers copy, the best programmers steal. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Any reactions? Good programmers copy and great programmers steal. What does it mean? Does that make any sense? Is that big brain or is it just like regular brain? Borrowing without returning. Stealing is a big word. Yeah, I think that what they were trying to get at, is my guess, is that you can copy stuff from Stack Overflow, and that's like one kind of thing, borrowing maybe. And stealing is when you use a library. That was my terrible interpretation of what that tweet might have meant. If you copy something, you're redoing it, but if you steal it, you don't put in the work hours, and that's more valuable. Yep. So how do we decide that we're done? That's my question, right? So what's happening here is that values is returning an empty slice is what I think is happening, right? So it's like if len vals is equal to 0, we'll say got an empty slice back from values. And let's also print out the closedness of the connections to see like what this deal is here. So con dot is closed. So I'm guessing that we're like just running that and it's getting back. Well, I also feel like if it was closed and we ran values, it would probably give us back an error like IOEOF or something. And we do seem to be checking that here. That might not be the problem, but we're gonna see. Okay, so we're getting a failure and it's saying got an empty slice back from values false, which means that we're not closed, but we got an empty slice back? Why would that be the case? I guess that's maybe saying that if you, maybe the contract of this thing is a little bit interesting, which is that if you call values on a iterator that has returned false in its little iterator method thing, which is called next, I thought. Yeah, I have this has next thing, right? Like, am I supposed to be checking this in another spot? Could that be what's going on here? Right, this is the problem, right? In our old next method, which is the one that was polite and didn't allocate, we checked if it has next, and if it didn't, we returned IOEOF. And our values method, we're not doing the same thing. I think we literally just want to do that. And I do think that that's gonna fix the problem. Let's find out. We run the tests. Yeah. Okay, so we still failed the test, but there's some differences. And I think we're failing maybe on a different test now. Let's run with test-v.v. Test flags equals dash test.v. I think this will tell us which test failed. Normally, I think it does tell you which test failed. I'm a little bit confused why it's not doing that right now, but no big deal. Okay, so it's failing in test run. Oh, right, because we picked the test to run, so it's not telling us. That's pretty obvious, I guess. So it's expecting that we get primary false, and what we're returning is something a little bit fatter. I want to say we're printing out like a bunch of weird crap. And I'm guessing that what's going on here is probably that something is different about the format method that we're using in the PGX land versus what we were using before in the libpq land. It's perplexing though. Okay, so why don't we figure out what it's actually introspecting on? So line 158 of this test file says, yeah, so what is this guy, right? What is this guy? Expected columns were column name, data type is not, indices. Okay, so what's happening is that whatever libpq did to get back what a SQL array is supposed to look like is somehow different from what PGX is giving us back for a SQL array. Returns rows affected and stuff. It's not, yeah, that, I think that could be a problem. And it does sort of look like this rows affected thing. I see what you're looking at, like 1-1, insert 1-1 or something means like, I don't know, I forget what that means exactly, but no, what's happening here is actually that we're just formatting the array data type differently now. And we need to figure out what the deal is with that and fix it. And I think that that's going to be not so bad, hopefully, because now it's sort of just getting into reading these format methods that presumably we must have somewhere. Format val, right? Yeah, so check this out. This is a big, yet another type switch. Many exist in the world. These type switches in the world of database drivers, I want to say. It checks the type and it does different stuff depending on the type. But hey, look, it doesn't actually do anything special for arrays though, does it? It seems to be saying if it's nil, return null. If it's string, do a string thing. If it's bytes, do a byte thing. If it's a time, do a time thing. And in all other cases, we just delegate to sprint, which like, does it use the stringer method or something? Would be my guess. So I think what we want to do is probably understand what the PGX, yeah, I think what we have to do is actually read this introspection code that we were complaining about earlier, right? We were sort of like, oh man, this code is so full of reflection, it's so gross. But I think what we need to do is read that and figure out what it might be doing. So that could be kind of fun. SQL rows to strings, where are we? Where is that called to values? Okay, so inside of here, the guts of the driver, we got your con rows, we got your data type for OID. So here's the big, here's what we're, here it is. Here's a map from uint32, which is the database OID, which is the type ID of a thing. And here's a big map, right? From type OID to the Golang struct used to implement that type. So I think what we want to do is search for these array methods and see how they're supposed to be printed out. This is an example. I think in our example, we were actually looking at a string array. So let's try to see what a string array looks like in this library. Where would that be? We can search for underscore text. So we got text array and varchar array, but we can just look at text array. And okay, so what's going on with this? I think, yeah, this is exactly what's going on, right, guys? Look, this value that we're printing out that should just be primary, we're printing out like a bunch of weird Golang fields. So I think it's just using the like default %v formatting. It's printing out 3 fields. And there's 3 fields. There's an elements field, there's a dimensions field, a status field. So here are the dimensions, the elements. I don't know what this 2 is about, but this is definitely the first element. It's printing out the dimensions, which is a 1-1, maybe. I'm guessing. It's 1-dimensional and has length 1 is probably what that means. And then the status, is it undefined, null, or present? And the answer is that it's 2, so present. Okay, so we've solved that mystery, but does it get us any closer to understanding how to actually print this though? There's these decode text methods. What is decode text about? Decode text. Decode text decodes source into text decoder. If source is nil, then the original SQL value is null. Text decoder takes ownership of source. Excuse me? The caller must not use it again. Okay. Okay. So I guess what I want to do is typecast this thing into whatever this thing implements, right? Like this text decoder thing. And then run decode text on it or something. I'm gonna try that out. I don't know. This feels a little weird, but we can try it. So where's this format val at? Format val. So if it's a pgx.text decoder, no, it's not pgx, text decoder. This is kind of a sick song. If it's a text decoder, then we can say, actually, we're also going to print out the type, all right, while we're here, because this is just a good practice, because otherwise we're going to get very confused when it doesn't match our switch case. So we're going to say print out, we'll print out the value itself and the type. So we'll say reflect.type of val. That'll give us some information when this inevitably fails. If it is a text decoder, though, we're going to say buff is equal to, I think we have to make a new buff, and we have to say t.decode. It also needs a con info. How do I get a con info? This is like some meta stuff. I wonder if I can just use the default con info or something rather than having to like thread one all the way through. Because there's got to be, yeah, new con info is like the default one. I'm just going to use that for now. We'll actually just make a variable out of it. So var default con info is equal to pgx or pgtype dot new con info. Then we'll say t.decode text of default con info, comma, source. Wait a minute. Do I want encode text? Am I confused here? Decodes source into text decoder. Yeah, I want the opposite, right? I want text encoder. Text encoder is implemented by types that can encode themselves into the PostgreSQL text wire format. Okay. So maybe we're just hoping sort of that in many cases, the text wire format is actually what we want to print out in the SQL client, maybe. Encode text should append the text format of self to buff. Okay, so this is what I want. I want text encoder. I want t.encode text. I pass in my default con, and then I pass in this buff. So I'll make buff is equal to make, or I'll just say var buff byte array, and then I'll pass in buff. And then this thing presumably gives me back the buff and then an error. So buff is equal to this, error is equal to this thing. And I'll say if error is not equal to nil, then what? This thing doesn't return an error. Then I guess I'll just return, I'll just say what? Can I just like exit this thing? Yeah, I'll just say break? Is this a default case or no? It's an everything case, so I can just say break. We'll delegate to the ordinary Golang %v formatter in this case. Okay. Dopen, thank you for the follow. We've got our buff, and then we think we want to return a string of it, so we'll just say return string of buff. And that's the end of it. We'll see if this actually does anything good. I'm not totally convinced, but let's find out. Run our tests. Do you guys ever just compulsively hit enter while you're like waiting for command line output to happen? Sometimes I'm just like, what is that emote? It's a bouquet. Thanks for the bouquet, my dude. Okay, expected output. So this is good. I think we've succeeded at one thing. We've succeeded at passing that first test, and our second test we're now failing. So that's, I think, some good progress. Some good progress. Let's check out this second test to see what might be broken on it. SQL util test 176. I compulsively hit escape because my stupid Apple keyboard doesn't have feedback on the escape key, and I end up getting out of full screen mode. Oh, you're talking about, dude, you're talking about that little non-tactile escape key that they give you? I'm sure you've heard this before, but I'm telling you, it's all about binding escape to caps lock. What is the editor? Is that NeoVim? No, this is Golang. So this is the JetBrains kind of IDE thing that you can use Go inside of, also known as IntelliJ. They're all the same thing. What's up, Montana Brown? How you doing? Okay. Wait, what was I doing? I was trying to figure out what was the failing test, right? So SQL util test 176. So what is this? Show B. What is B? B is from... Wow, so whatever this is, it was really trying to print out this giant fat table looking thing. Binding escape to caps lock is really life-changing. And let me drop you some other knowledge that you already may know. So excuse me if I'm just telling you things that you already know, but you can also bind control to it at the same time. So it's escape if you tap it and control if you hold it. Then you can really never move your pinky. It's kind of the dream. There's this great article from way back in the day called Modern Space Cadet that teaches you how to set this thing up. 2012 from Steve Lash. I don't know if you remember this guy. He was like a GitHub Twitter influencer dude, but I think he's cool and he has a good article. So check this out if you want to figure out how to bind this stuff. I think like the instructions might have changed a little bit as like Mac OS got more advanced, and like Carabiner is now called that instead of, you know, PC keyboard hack, whatever it is, but it's still like mostly works, I think. Okay, so what's happening is that we're getting the rows back right, but we're not getting the table back right. And that's perplexing. I'm not gonna lie, it's perplexing. So I think run query and format results is like the advanced version of whatever we were doing before run query. And I wonder if it's sort of just a re-implementation of run query and we need to apply the same changes that we applied to run query to make this thing work. Or does this thing delegate to run query? That's kind of the question I have going into this. And it doesn't seem like it's delegating to run query at all. So it does kind of seem like we have to reapply the work that we did before to make this work. And yeah, so that's fine. Right, so this is the thing with the no rows hook. This is the thing with the no rows hook. And where is our little loop? It's rows.next result set. I see. Okay, so I think that probably whatever we did here does not work. I actually remember messing with this last stream and being a little bit confused about what it might mean. And I think that it actually doesn't actually really apply to the way that we're using PGX right now. And that does concern me a little bit. I think result sets in SQL are used if you put a like compound statement in the shell. So I'll use a demo on a binary that's not completely broken. Where would that be? I think if I said something like select 1 : select 2, I think that this is a result set. You see how there's 2 of these coming back? And I don't think that the way that we're invoking PGX is actually going to support this at all. I don't think that that's the problem that we're facing now that I think about it though, because I think that in this case we only do have a single result set, and we're not even up to that stage yet. I think we're still up to the like basic stage of running a single result set. So let's look into render. I think this is probably the thing that isn't working quite right. So here's our little loop. We're running iter.next. Iter.next is going to tell us whether we... Oh, what is this? This is actually a different thing. Maybe I just probably didn't modify this one to not use scan instead of values. No, this actually does at the very bottom delegate to the new thing that I did. That can't be the problem. Let's get rid of this print line, by the way. So in that case, it must have to do with, I don't know. So let's look at the test again. We're getting 3 rows back because we checked the rows affected. You're back, you had to eat dinner. Welcome back. I hope you had a great dinner. What did you eat? We got the right rows affected because we're checking that field separately at the end. We're not counting this rows affected thing ourselves. The server does send that back to us. But for whatever reason, we're not getting any values out. Pasta with cheese filling, my dude. That sounds phenomenal. That sounds like, you know, you could call it a tortellini. You could call it a ravioli. Or you could call it pasta with cheese filling. Maybe it wasn't tortellini or ravioli. Maybe it was something completely different. A third class of filled pasta. Okay, why don't we print some stuff out here? We got a new row. Hooray. Row, comma, error. Let us run these tests. Let us see what's the deal. It's kind of a jam. I love when these house songs have like a little bit of, it like switches between a positive feel and a negative feel in the chords, if you know what I mean. It feels so good. I love that. To be honest, you guys, one thing that's sad about COVID is that it's harder to have a dance party. Not that I go to a lot of dance parties, but dance parties are really fun and I kind of miss them right now. All right, so we did get the rows. That's what we've determined, right? We see the row that we're trying to print, name, string, false, null, nothing, primary, false. Don't know about this nil. Oh, the error, okay. But then for some reason, we're not getting it formatted properly. So I think that's like good progress. So what do we do with this row to format it? That's the next question. Report every row, including the first. We run iter on it. And I think that this iter is using the SQL reporter. No, it's using the, so these reporters are about, you can change the format in your shell if you want. If you want to have like a CSV output, you can use the CSV thing and you can set that as a little setting in the shell. But I guess they're implemented as these reporter things in the code. And I think what we want is the record reporter. No, that's not right either. What's the fancy reporter? That's the one that's normally used. ASCII table reporter, that sounds about right. So we get this row of strings. I really don't understand why this would like start to fail though, realistically. I don't get that at all. So I think what I'll do is I'll just keep printing stuff. Format.println, iter. I could use logs because then I wouldn't have to print out some context to know where I'm at, but I think that's too official. Okay, so the truth is that we get this row, but we never get to iter for some reason. Why would that be the case? That's shocking. It's shocking. And I don't understand it. So it looks like we probably quit before we get here, right? Is that what's happening? We don't get IOEOF. We already determined that we get an error that is nil. So we don't break here. We don't break here either. Error is nil. Is n rows 0? It starts out as 0 probably. What is n rows? Who's setting this? Who's editing this? Is the problem that nobody pluses this? No, we do plus it here. Yeah, man, what's the deal? Wouldn't this be so much easier though with the debugger though? Printing, we have 0 rows. Before first row. Does it return an error? Could that be the case? No, because we don't get an error out. We actually do make it through the entire way. It's just for whatever reason, we're not actually, do we get here? We're about to call iter, and we can print out the type too, reflect.type of R. Wait, did you guys see that tweet, by the way, about, who made that tweet? I can't remember who made the tweet, but somebody tweeted that somebody figured out the way they do debugging for their program, that instead of dumping things to standard out, they actually just edit the text buffer of a notepad instance on Windows. So like they have this notepad open all the time, and they have their debug output just like right directly to that thing. So they can have a floating debug console. I think that's so cool. So we do actually claim to call iter, and we claim to be using the ASCII table reporter, just as we suspected. So the question is, why does it not? Is row empty, or is table nil? It could be any one of those things. Where do we initialize this iter table guy? Oh, maybe that's the issue. Maybe this describe implementation has to change now that we're using PGX. Maybe they're the one who sets table. Ooh, see, this could actually be it. Oh, yeah. Because we pass in calls. I bet this is just set up wrong. I think this is good. I think I'm onto something. What is calls set to here? We pass in calls. Yeah, this is for sure suspicious. Realistically, we can get calls ourselves right here because next, this row iter guy has the underlying rows within, and it is the thing that is keeping track of the columns. So I think if we were to say iter.rows, oh, is this like a, this is an interface. So what is row slice iter? Oh, it's a little bit of a circular and annoying problem. The problem is that this function needs calls. It can't get calls from iter. It has to get it from its parent. But this function also has to be the one to set calls. Challenging. I guess, what would we want to do to fix this exactly? The column headers are not printed. And this is why this was failing before too, because we don't have the calls yet. We haven't even called next for the very first time. Now hold on 1 minute though, because we did call, there's a spot where we call rows.next in order to set the has next flag on this iter thing. I could have sworn there's something like that. Has next. Yeah, the SQL rows guy. It has a has next field. And we set it for the very first time in query. Yeah, I mean, this was definitely run with query, right? It was definitely run with query, right? Well, let's look at this test again. Run query and format results. Presumably this calls query, right? It's got to. Or does it take a function, right? This thing takes a function, and the function is make query. And inside of make query, we have query. Okay, so for sure I'm not crazy there. I think theoretically, the rows object that we return from function will have already been nexted for the first time. And so therefore it should also for sure have the columns. This should be a thing. I don't understand why it's not. Oh wait, do we just not set it? Did I just like... All right, you guys, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. This might fix it. Revert a broken thing I did before. You're really close to trying CockroachDB for your next project. Really close. That's awesome. How can I push you over to the edge into trying it out? I want to convince you that you should do that. I think you'll like it. I think it'll be good for you. Oh, this is solid. So we've passed that last test. And the new problem, I bet, has to do with this compound statement thing I was talking about, maybe. We could have a dance party, I guess that would convince me. LOL JK. Yeah, I don't think that it's not this kind of stream, man. This is not that kind of stream, I should say. All right. 200, line 200. How is this? Oh, it's the wrong file. I want to go to my test file to line 200. Aha, test multiple results. This is exactly what I was afraid of, the result sets. We have to figure out how to do result sets. Gonna try it out for whatever comes up next. Awesome, dude. I love that. I love that. You know where to find me if you have questions. We also have GitHub. You know, you can file issues. We have a community Slack, you guys. If you want to learn about CockroachDB, come to our community Slack. You can ask on it. Ask anything. It's a good community. It's like a stream Discord, except it's a corporate community Slack. So yeah. Okay, so here's the thing, right? We need to figure out how to do multiple result sets in PGX. PGX, multiple result sets. The guy who made Discord went to college with you. They use Cassandra. That's cool. Are you still friends with that guy? Cassandra is a good database. There's some problems with it. It's a little bit hard to use in certain circumstances. I use it at my last job. I think if you're okay with eventual consistency, and I would argue that you're often not really okay with eventual consistency, Cassandra is a great choice. I also think it's hard to scale up Cassandra. I don't know if you've ever tried to do it. It's very, very, very tricky because of the way that they do that key space stuff. You have to be careful to double the nodes every time or be really smart the way you do it, or else you're gonna have imbalanced data across your cluster, which can be painful. We actually worked together for a while. I like him. I'd like to say we're still friends, but he doesn't, it's not since he's a billionaire now. Their issues from their blogs were based on garbage collection. Yeah, that is another problem for sure, because it's a Java program. They can have those GC pauses. I think the Java garbage collector has gotten a lot better since the beginning of Cassandra. But it used to be pretty problematic. Scylla, yeah, I've heard of Scylla. Scylla seems really cool. Okay, what about my result sets? What about my result sets? Batch results. That seems promising. The partitioning and joining in CockroachDB is what's attractive to me. Being able to do SQL joins, being able to have serializable transactions, those are things that you cannot do in Cassandra or MongoDB for that matter. They have their consistency is not quite as strong as ours. I don't know if you know about Jepsen. You should read the latest Jepsen report on MongoDB. It's pretty sassy. MongoDB Jepsen. I'm just gonna, can I paste this in? Where is it at? MongoDB Jepsen. The first result is what's on MongoDB's website, but what we really want is the thing that's on Jepsen's website. Pasted it into the chat. It's a good read. Batch results. Look, to be honest, I don't fully understand MongoDB, and I don't want to say anything about it that is incorrect. But there were some suspicious things in that paper. That's all that I say. Okay, so send batch. Send batch sends all queued queries to the server all at once. The queries are run in an implicit transaction unless explicit transaction control statements are executed. The returned batch results must be closed before the connection is used again. Okay. Send batch. That sounds what we want to be doing instead of run query or instead of conduct query. Yeah, we going strong. We were just talking about Mongo. We were talking about Mongo. We were talking about how I don't really know what's wrong with Mongo, but I know that there might be some things wrong with Mongo. And you can find more if you read the Jepson report. Shout out to 14 viewers. Shout out to Null Bitmap, my first subscriber. How is that work happy hour? Yeah, you should read that. It's a good thing. I think there's some good insights in it, for sure. Right, so I think essentially, goodbye to a departing employee. Wow, that's dramatic. That is dramatic. So what is a batch? A batch is made of a batch item. A batch is just query and arguments. I guess that makes sense. So can I just like, wait, how do I build one of these batches? How do I build one of these babies? Batch.q. I love that. SQL query can be a SQL query or the name of a prepared statement. I'm actually a little bit worried right now that I'm going to have to figure out how to decompose the input query into many individual queries without semicolons. Like, is that for real? Out of curiosity, what does happen when I run the single batched query with the query interface and not with the batch interface? Like, what do I get back exactly? How would I test that? Let's see. If I go to my test that I was running. Oh man, that project thing is old. I need to update it. People have been negging me about that project thing. I need to figure out, do you guys know how I could like write a little thing that allows me to say like set project to blah or something, and then it'll do it? Because my problem is that I have to open up like Streamlabs or whatever, which is like its whole other website, and it's annoying. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be some better automation. Nightbot. Is Nightbot like a better bot? Prepared statement had 3 statements, expected 1. It's what you use. I've seen it on a lot of streams. Yeah, I've seen it on a lot of streams too. Like the stream, I just use with Streamlabs because like, I don't know, the like notifications things are also Streamlabs. So I was like, I might as well just use one platform, but I don't know if it's better or not. We've been on the S *** K *** playlist this entire time. This is Sherman Drink, which is a great source for music. So the question is, what the heck is giving me this error back? Prepared statement had D statements. No, it's not him. It's not him. It's just, I found this playlist from his account. So this error is actually getting returned from the server, which I find extremely sketchy and scary. So it's line 117. Wrong number of prepared statements. What is this? What is this wildness? Okay, handle parse. This is the state machine on the server side. This is what we do when we get a query from the network. This is actually the handling for the parse thing, parse message. So it's like we get the name of the prepared statement, we get the query. Oh, sorry, this is for prepare. This is not for execute. This is for prepare. So the PGWire protocol has a couple of different ways you can run it. There's a simple mode, there's a complicated mode. In the complicated mode, the first thing that you do is prepare a statement by sending the name of the statement, the query that you're trying to prepare, and then some other information like the number of arguments that you're trying to send, as well as the types of the arguments that you're sending. And then it does some stuff. So I guess what's happening here is that we're violating the protocol by sending simple mode and complicated mode. What if APIs were just named in a straightforward manner? Why call it things extended when you could just call them complicated. In any case, it sort of seems like if you try to use PGX to send a compound statement, it just like violates the protocol. And probably what libpq does is it helpfully parses them apart for you, which realistically I'm jealous of, and I'm sad that it doesn't do that. Let's figure out the PQ implementation for this so that we can understand what it really does. pq.con. Where's the juice? .connect. Driver.con. Man, back into the world of being extremely confused about how Go's database SQL thing works. It's like interfaces on interfaces, I have to say. What we want to look is for con.go, I think, and try to figure out what kind of crazy parsing that it might do. Simple query. Okay, so this is the thing that, oh, what if database SQL does it? What if database SQL does it? Could it possibly be the thing that's doing that? That would make me really sad. That would make me really, really, really sad. Oh, well, let's see. Hold on. Let's database SQL result set, multiple result sets, maybe multiple result sets. Add Golang. This is not what we want. Okay, this is the issue that did it. Database SQL add support for returning multiple result sets. Blah, blah, blah. What is the commit that closed it? Cardianos. Our boy Cardianos. Daniel Theophanes. Thank you for doing this work. And thank you for reviewing it, Brad Fitzpatrick. All right, so how does it work? How does it work? We run db query, and there's got to be something somewhere in this patch that does this parsing, right? Holy cow, it totally does. It's strings.splits using semicolon. Is that really for real? But what if there's a semicolon inside of a string? Does it? Okay, here's what it says. Strings.split on semicolon. Strings.split on pipe. For some reason, I'm super perplexed right now. If there's fewer than one pipe split, it's an empty query. Fake statement, dude. It's like, what is this? Are you seeing this? Are you seeing what I'm seeing right now? We're checking for capital panic. I'm actually dying right now. Oh, tell me this is just the fake con. This is just a fake con. Okay. I think it's fine. I think that was just a weird test thing. My heart rate just like went up. Gotta go. Great stream as always. Thank you so much for stopping by, K-Dobes. I really appreciate it. Have a great evening. Redeemed, no longer sus. Okay. So let's find another strings.split though, because presumably they're still using such a thing. No, they don't. They use a parser, maybe. Can you believe it? You have to re-implement parsing on the client side? Is that a thing? You guys. Oh, this is still in fake statement. I'm like, magic query? Fake TX? Where's the real stuff? Give me the real stuff. Give me the good stuff. Wait. I didn't. Are you telling me that each driver has to do it? Is that what's happening? Is each driver having to do it? Because that would explain a lot. This is their fake con implementation. Each driver implements a con. So I'm back to looking for libpq, I think. Because realistically, what are the files in this? How do I see the files? I've got driver, I've got example test, I've got fake DB test. Driver is the interface. SQL.go. So it's either in this thing or it's in each driver. And this thing literally just has like parse apart the next result sets. Okay, so it's not that. It does live in libpq somewhere. So we were fooled. We were badly fooled. And we should go back into looking at the libpq code, I guess. Where did that go? So again, though, it leads me to think, here's query. We run query with query string. Presumably it hasn't gotten parse apart at this part, right? Unless it happens at a higher level. And then we literally just send it out. We just tweet it out. Write buff, Q, and then you string it. So it can't be here. It has to be at a higher level. What other files are in this thing? Could it be connector.go? Could it be connector.go? No. Hold on. I'm so confused. What if I go to go source github.com libpq and then I search for result set? What happens then? Has next result set. Am I like on drugs right now? I don't understand what's going on at all, because it really seems to me like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna run the libpq tests. We're gonna run the libpq tests, and we're gonna no. We're gonna open up Wireshark. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do this again. Don't reopen the windows. We're gonna do this again. We're gonna grab loopback. We're gonna grab, this is now a hacking channel. We're doing Wireshark. Port 26257. Okay. We're gonna run capture. We're gonna start up a server. We're gonna go over here and we're gonna start up a client. And we're gonna try to figure out what the heck is going on. So if I say cockroach v 20.1.1, Bobby bloobity blah, SQL. Okay, insecure. Okay, so now if I run select one on its own, and I go to Wireshark, I should see something, which is the query getting run, right? Am I not? Do I have to ask it to decode stuff as the Postgres protocol again? No, here it is. How long did it take me to learn Vim? Good question. I think it took me a while, honestly. I learned it in high school. Either early high school or late middle school, can't remember. And I think I struggled for quite a long time, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think there was this Vim tutor thing that I used. That thing is pretty good, but I kept having to go back to it, try things again. I think nowadays there's some good tutorials on the internet and stuff that are like pretty interactive that you could try. But it did take me a while. I don't think it's trivial. I don't think you should be embarrassed if it takes a long time for anything like that. Okay, so here's my simple query. It's select one on its own. Great. So now if I run a compound dude, select one, select two. Lithium bought a Vim book that helped a lot. 2 weeks and I was able to move around like normal. Yeah. A book, that's cool. That's old school. I like books though. So here's my thing. I'm sending a query that says, what? Wait. No, you guys. Oh, it's because it's a simple. Is that the problem? If I send it as a simple query, the server can deal with multiple result sets. But if I send it as a prepare, execute pair, it can't handle multiple result sets. That might be what the problem is. Lithium likes to support authors and streamers. That you do, my friend. I'm going to the Vim tutor right now and I feel so slow right now. Yeah, don't worry. I mean, you'll get it eventually. You'll get it eventually. You just got to give it time. There's a garbage truck outside of my house right now and it's also raining. I feel like there's chaos in my life. Okay. So here's the thing. What this is telling me is that I should probably just tell the CLI to stop using the extended protocol, and that'll probably fix my problem. I think we were probably always using the simple protocol before, and there's no need to use the extended or complicated, as I like to call it, protocol. And so I know how to do that now because I learned that other super sus thing that I was talking about at the beginning of the stream, which is that to pass in options to this query thing, you just like pass them as like query parameters. It's like honestly highly suspicious. So where would that live? That's in like, where did that go? I always get completely lost. I think it's in this one maybe. Run query and format results, that's right. So down here, I think, oh, lordy lord. Oh, it's called like make query or something. Make query. Here. So I think, are you guys ready for this? If you're watching, watch some Jankity. Watch some Jankity. You see this? This is query, which is the string, and here's the parameters, right? So here's a var args list of the parameters that go with the query. Simple, right? But what if I told you that besides just passing parameters, I could also pass query simple protocol. But I guess it looks like there's an easier way to do it after all, which is to set it in the config. I'm gonna prefer to do that because that is just kind of gnarly. So where do I set this con config thing? I think I know. I think it's where I establish this connection, which is over here. So I parse my config and then I can say config dot prefer simple protocol equals true. Okay, okay, brilliant. Now if I run my test again, perhaps I will be in happy lands. Big no-no for the magic, I agree. Quap till you drop, by the way, that's an awesome name. I'm a big fan of Quap. Have you seen the Quap cosplayer video? So what's the deal? This is good. We're making major progress. Expected output 1 1 1 row, 2 3 2 3 1 row. Hello hello 1 row. Got 1 1 1 row. Okay, so this is the problem that we screwed up the detection of more result sets and we just quit as soon as we are done with the first result set. And I think I know where that lives too. My slight fear is that PGX isn't gonna like it that I've asked for more than one result set in my simple query. And I don't know if it's gonna have a way of actually getting that information out. I'm pretty scared about that. And that would be a big problem. That would be a big problem. What does this thing do under the hood? It execs it. It next results it. What does next result do? No, I mean, I think this is multi-result reader could, no, okay. So this seems legit. It does have a multi-result reader under the hood. So that feels safe in a sense. Question is, how do I poke at this interface to start giving me back a new result set, right? That's the question. Let's look at the interface of this MRR multi-result reader thing. I've got a read all. I've got a next result. Okay, so it looks like this is this next result guy. I'm guessing that this is the way to advance to the next statement. And my question is, who's calling this thing? And if they're not calling it, how do I call it? Ah. Oh, exec simple protocol. Okay, so I wanted to look at query simple protocol, I guess. And that's what I was in before. This is just the query. It's saying exec the thing. If I have a next result. Oh, but there's no loop. Ooh, that's really not good. That's quite bad for me. Because unless I can figure out a way to ask it to use to get my hands on this multi-result reader thing somehow. That would solve my problem, I think. And maybe it's possible to actually get, this is unfortunate though, man. Like, I just kind of thought that it would be easy. Maybe if I pass exec batch, a batch with a single element that has multiple result sets inside, that would actually be okay. Maybe the thing would handle that. That's kind of my hope right now. Is there a query batch? I can't remember. No. But batch results gives me back an exec and a query row. Okay, this is feeling good. Potentially. Let's try that out as a next step. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it's really just getting so complicated. So instead of doing this here, I'm gonna say batch is equal to c.con.new batch. No, how do I get a new batch? Well, I'll be doing c.con.send batch, right? And so is there an example of how to use this? Not so much. Is there a constructor on this batch guy? There's batch.q, right? We already figured this out, but how do I, oh, can I just start with an empty one? Looks like I can start with an empty one because it doesn't have anything but a slice. Okay, so I'll say batch is equal to pgcon.batch. So I'll be more idiomatic. I'll say var batch pgcon.batch. And then I'm gonna say batch.q. No? Come on, what's the deal with this? Is this the wrong kind of batch? This is in fact the wrong kind of batch. What I want is a pgx.batch. My apologies. Var batch pgx.batch. Then I'm gonna say batch.q. I'm gonna pass in query, I'm gonna pass in args. Okay, and then I'm gonna say batch is equal to c.con.send batch ctx context.todo. Why do I not have a context here? Don't know. And then I'm gonna pass in my batch. Oh wait, batch results. And this is gonna be, yes, results is equal to this. And then the problem is that I actually have to retrofit this SQL rows guy to include a batch results. Oh my God, dude. This is like never ending giant refactor. This is kind of how I feel about this. But it's worth it. So results can't have an error. That's interesting. Get rid of this. What is wrong with this? Does this need an address? So I'm not going to check anything here. I can't do fetch the first row if it exists. I guess I can say results dot. I guess I just have to build a little result iterator into SQL rows, essentially, is the idea. So I'll say rows errors equal to this. Oh yeah, I probably actually want to keep that old error check thing, this thing here, because I still want to check if it's an error bad con and then quit. Seems fine. Otherwise, I'll say if error is not equal to nil, return nil error. Is that what I had before? I don't know. So I'll check that. I will still do this thing where I fetch the first row if it exists, but then the difference is that instead of just including rows in SQL rows, I'll also include this batch results thing. So I'll say remaining results. No, I'll say batch results pgx.batch results. Okay, and I'll say batch results contains the remaining result sets that haven't yet been processed. I have to say that this is much more annoying to do this yourself. It would be much nicer if the rows iterator could handle the multiple result sets on its own instead of forcing you to go through all this absolute rigmarole. batch results is results. Okay. And then we have this next result set thing that we kind of implemented poorly last time over here. No, not this. Where was it? There was, yeah, here we go. Next result set. Next result set prepares the next result set for reading. Okay, so we'll say if r dot batch results. We probably want to pass a pointer to this thing, by the way. So if this is nil, or wait, well, we'll just start with this. If this is nil, we'll return false nil. And otherwise, what we're going to want to do is run. We're going to want to say r.batch result dot. Wait, what are the methods on this thing? Oh, no, not a pointer. Sorry, it's an interface. We don't want a pointer. That makes no sense. We want to run. How can I tell if there's anything left, though? You know, that's confusing to me. How can I tell if there's anything left? If not next results, then return rows nil. And is rows nil to start with? No. I mean, how can I tell if this thing is closed? I don't get it. Oh, I see. It says rows.error is equal to close it. Rows.close equal to, okay, so it's not that bad. I say rows is equal to query. Does this give me back an error too? It does. And I guess if error is not equal to nil, I can return false error probably. I might have to do Jordan maybe check for EOF here. You bought a nice Angular template and your app is looking so sexy right now. That's awesome. That's the dream, not having to design your own themes. I recently redid my own website and I was not about to learn CSS for that shit. I kind of copied somebody else's and credited them, of course. I'm not a savage. So then I can say if not, I guess I can say r.rows is equal to this thing. Bar error. The difference between my CSS and professional CSS is noticeable. Yeah. You know, I think that's understandable, dude. I think CSS is really hard. Okay, so I got the new rows back. I check if it's not any nexted. If it's not any nexted, we can get out of here. And I feel like that's all we have to do, right? I feel like that's actually not so inelegant. No, wait a minute. Do we want this or do we want closed? Because if we run this for the first time, it's going to like initialize the row, and that feels a little bit questionable. Like we sort of might miss the first one in a sense. But I think it's what we want though. Okay, whatever. Let's try it. Let's try it. Boom. Greek Paloma is the name of this song. That's the name of the mix. I don't know what the name of the song is. Okay, so we got no results in an earlier test, which means that we have royally screwed something up. And I think it has to do with this nexting business that I was just acting concerned about. I think what we're doing is we're double nexting the iterator before anybody has a chance to read it, which is a major no-no, because that would just completely invalidate everything. SQL util test.go 122. So this is set database equals system. Is this supposed to give anything back though? No result. I feel like that is the problem though. Let's actually go ahead and next result set. Where did that go again? So I think what we want to do is actually, who calls this, right? That's the question. Do we call this at the very first stage, or do we only call it after we've read the first set of rows, you know? It kind of looks like we call it at the end. So we do a full loop and then we call next result set. So that leaves me a little bit perplexed as to why this didn't work. Let's go back to our batch. That's what we changed. So we queue our query. We run it. Why don't we say, No, I don't quite understand this, actually. I don't quite understand this. We initialize the batch. We initialize the query, which is the first query on the batch. And the question is what happens next, right? We next the rows, but we were doing that before, so that can't be the problem. We set up our batch results here. We set up our rows here. And what's our test doing? It's running run query and format results on set database equals system. It's getting nothing back. Could the problem have to do with the fact that this set is actually, it's got this like command tag thing, right? That's what it's returning. It's not actually returning any results. So I wonder if my problem is actually that whatever I've done isn't getting its command tags checked or something like that. That doesn't seem right either. I think we're gonna have to do some print line debugging, my dudes. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. Oh yeah, we already had some of this. And in fact, I mean, it's kind of weird, right? Because this set command doesn't actually give back any rows. And in fact, we do get called here. We got a new row, hooray. That's what we say when we... Oh, I think I know what the problem is. This is actually quite interesting. I think the problem is that we only check for the command tag. So a command tag, by the way, in SQL, it's the thing that we return that tells you what kind of command you ran. So it's like, did you run a select? It's going to say back select. If you ran an insert, it's going to say back insert. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's just telling you that you did something. But I think the thing is that now that we're looking at this granular thing where we're seeing multiple command tags per batch, I'm guessing is that we're closing the rows before we get the next command tag. And I bet that's why things are sort of screwed up here. And I think we can, let's see, so how would I test this? Well, this is actually quite relevant. The thing that's right in front of my face right now, this no rows hook. No rows hook is supposed to get invoked if you saw no rows, which is exactly what happened here. And it's supposed to get the tag, right? So let's print out what happened here. Did we get invoked here? Yes or no? Print line. We got no rows. Oh no's. We're going to print the tag. We're going to print out the tag. Let's just print that baby out. And we're supposed to print it out. There's a whole bunch of crap here. I don't understand it. If it's a select and rows affected are 0, which I think is not the case. this is called an iris. I'm gonna Google it for you guys. Iris keyboard. Look, it looks almost exactly like mine. It just so happens that the like first image uses the same keycaps. Oh no, they're not the same keycaps. I actually own these keycaps on a different keyboard, but it's yeah, it's a split keyboard. I don't know. It's like, it's sick. I'm a big fan. All right, so what happens? We printed this out. This is what we expected, and yet, wait, I'm so lost. I'm so fully lost. How come this is not? Oh, so perhaps this no result thing is actually coming from somewhere else. Is that the issue? Makes it easier to code? No, I wouldn't say it makes it easier to code. I think that for me, using like a MacBook keyboard, it like gets my wrists all messed up. I don't know if that happens for you, but like I think it's because like if you're typing like this, like if your hands are straight, right? And your arms are angled inwards as they would have to be to type on the keyboard, since the keyboard's really close together, it's gonna mess your wrists up if you do it for too long, right? Like your wrists wanna be straight, and if you tweak them like this, you're gonna start developing problems. So I like the split keyboard because it lets you angle them inwards like this. So I don't know if you can see on my camera, but like they're angled in. It means that everything's sort of straight, everything's sort of aligned. I don't have to like tweak anything. I don't know. It just like makes me feel less sad. You don't have this problem, but only because you don't use garbage, dude? What does that mean? What are you even talking about? I'm so lost on what you might possibly mean. Oh, Macs? You think Macs are garbage, dude? That's cool. I appreciate that opinion. So what is no result coming from? You're a Windows and Linux kiddie. That's cool. I like that. I like Linux a lot, you know. I think that it would be good to use Linux. I used to have a Linux machine, and I got bored of trying to reconfigure it all the time. The font rendering. Yeah, the font rendering is harder. Oh man. Okay, where is no result coming from? No result. No, I want to search for the string no result. Windows for gaming, Linux for work. Is that like... Okay, where is this coming from though? Where is this coming from? I don't understand. No result. If I go into my vendor dir, will it be there? Source GitHub? No, I want to actually be here. No result. Who is making this thing? I see, it's jackc pgx batch.go. Okay, so I've done something a little bit funky. I think that Windows for gaming, Linux for work actually makes sense as a good paradigm though, because I think that Macs cannot play games particularly well. Linux, I think it's gotten better, but not so good. Windows is where it's at. I agree with that. You're out of here. I'm gonna be learning Python in about 30 to 35 days, thinking about streaming it. So I'll probably, wait a minute, let me get something clear. Do you mean that you're in 30 to 35 days, you're gonna start learning Python? Or are you saying that within the span of 30 to 35 days, you're gonna be learning Python? Like starting now, it's gonna take you 30 to 35 days. In 30 to 35 days, you will start. Hell yeah, I believe in you, man. Purgatory 22, I think that you can do it. I believe in you. No, it might not. It might not. You never know. I think Python's a doable language. I think it's a good one to get started with. My new O'Reilly book, Learn Python in 30 to 35 days. Yeah, I'm down with that. So who's making this no result error? Let's batch.go. Learn Python in 30 to 35 paralogs. Okay. Where is batch.go? Where is batch.go? It's not here. It's not here. Is it here? I'm so bad when it comes to trying to figure out. Okay, here it is. I'm transitioning into the cloud. You're ascending into the cloud. So doing AWS training right now. Gonna pick up Python for my first language because it combos into the new Cisco networking stuff. That's cool. That's really cool. I don't know about Cisco networking stuff, but that sounds, I would love to learn more about networking. That's something I know really next to nothing about. JS or no JS after Python? Yeah, those are good ones. I'd like to learn more JavaScript too. I've been doing Golang for way too long. Just Golang. 30 to 50 days of Python. Okay. Chat is fully distracting me. You do all networking, MD layer. It's fine. How come all of my homies who join this chat are all into networking? You've joined my chat and you're all into networking. That one CS professor dude was networking. Purgatory 2's networking. Is that like the popular thing? Cisco's changing how you deploy configs. Instead of plugging in a cable from a laptop into a firewall, you will push configs using Python. Oh, I see. So you're talking about like Cisco networking hardware. You're talking about like you've got some Cisco routers or switches and you're trying to edit them and stuff like that. Okay, so that's like that. I think that's like the new hotness, right? Like what is that really popular? The Ubiquity Unify thing. Ubiquity Unify. That's the first time I heard of this like config Python stuff. Meraki, yeah. I've heard about this a little bit. I don't know too much about it, but it seems really cool. Okay, so no results. It's the new hotness in networking. No result. How come? Wait a minute. I literally just found it. How come I cannot find it again? jackc pgx batch.go. No result. It's because I have a different vendored version. I don't even know what to say. What am I supposed to do with that? I'm lost and confused. Instead of needing 10 peons to go do my config changes, do you have 10 peons right now? Purgatory, are you a peon master? You can push them all using Python and take all that money for yourself. Wow. Get that bread, dude. Get that bread. So am I accidentally importing the old PGX? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me right now? Am I using the wrong PGX for this? Is that what's going on? Is this pgx.batch? No, man. All right, see ya, man. Thanks for stopping in. Stop in again. Okay, so we send this batch. Where could this be coming from if it's not in my currently vendored things, right? That's my true question. What if I just ran gomod vendor again? Is this a bad idea? I think it's a terrible idea, and I apologize to all viewers for the chaos this is about to create. But maybe it will make things a little bit clearer. RIP. RIP. Okay, it did nothing. That's cool. It did nothing. It did nothing. I don't... I just removed my vendor tree from my side project. Actually gonna try to trust the module proxy. Oh yeah. That makes sense. It seems safe, right? That's what everybody's doing. How could this, dude, I don't get this. So literally what's happening somehow is that like, we're getting this message back from some code that doesn't exist in my vendor dir. But I thought that was not a thing that could happen. So, maybe it's that like no result. Okay, what if we try out a new strategy here? We're gonna go into vendor, github.com, jackc, pg. No, we're just gonna stay here and we're gonna search for results. I do pass mod equals vendor. That's like part of our make file because we know it's important. I think, actually, now that you mention it, I wonder if we forgot to add it to the test target. Does this print out what it's doing? Oh, Lord. Okay, I think if I do this, it'll fix that. Oh, God. Oh, no. This could be a major disaster. This could be a major disaster. I thought that we figured this out. So essentially what's happening, I think we talked about this on stream like 2 times ago, but the problem is that if you have empty packages in Go that have proto files that you depend on, the module system doesn't take them in. So you have to put on some like weird hacks to like fix it. So I thought that make vendor was supposed to fix that. But it clearly doesn't. It clearly doesn't. I wonder if I just run that inject flag thing on its own, maybe that will fix things. I bet it will. I'm just gonna run this command. Go mod vendor. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. We're in a real bad world of pain. Go and okay. Where is this mod vendor thing from? I know it's go get github.com otan cockroach mod vendor. Let's run this again. No. Okay, I think I think this might have recovered our situation. I shouldn't have done that. That was really a horrible mistake. While that's recompiling, I'm going to search for result in the path. Package vendor. Wait, package, no, vendor. github.com, jackc. And then just like hope we see something. Because otherwise I just don't understand like where this thing could possibly be returning from. Because we don't really see an error that's called no result. This is no res in result set, which is not what we're seeing. I don't know, man. Let's run this test again. Hopefully it won't just completely die this time around. Yeah, this is looking better. I do want to say yes. One project that I really want to do on stream, once all of this iterator stream stuff is finished, which I'm committing to do this, okay? I cannot start a new side project until I've figured out how to upgrade to PGX, how to fix this Go module stuff, and then how to make the internal executor streaming. That is my absolute promise to myself. Once I'm finished with that though, I really want to hack on the template engine for the vectorized engine that we have, because I have some really good ideas for it, and I think it could be a really fun project to do on stream. It's like a little language designy, a little bit you get to hack on the Go AST, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm just giving you guys that as an FYI. Okay, so if I run this make test thing, does it tell me the Go invocation? It does, and it does run with mod equals vendor, all right? Check this out. So that means this no result string, it just absolutely has to be coming from the vendor directory somewhere. And it's perplexing. Because I just don't see it as a string anywhere. Mark, that's something different. I guess we can just trace through, right? I mean, we can just trace through. It's sad. Let's just trace through. He says defeatedly. Could it be here? Could it be here? Could it be this, right? Could it be this? Got an error. I bet it's this, dude. I got an error back from, because I think this thing expects you to keep track of how many batch queries you're sending in. 30 minutes later, format.println. Yeah, I agree. I will claim to you that the fact that I'm not using Delve right now is strictly because this Go module stuff is like screwing some stuff up. I'm claiming it. You can disbelieve me if you want, and you might be right. No comment on that, but I do use Delve with great success a lot of the time. Okay. All right, so this is exactly what I thought. So basically what I want to do is I want to intercept exactly that error, because I think basically it means that I've come to the end of my result set. I don't actually track how many statements the client is sending me. I'm not doing that. So I want to catch this error, which of course I can't figure out, right? It's like what? I want to do like format.println. I want to do reflect.type of error, and then like hope that it's a special type, but it's probably just going to be created with errors.new. And it's an absolute mystery to me how somebody could have created this with errors.new if it doesn't exist as a string. Unless it was built with like string building, and that's why I can't find it. But that seems shocking that somebody would do that. Yeah, I can do that, but I didn't have a printf. I had a print line. do you ever wish that println would take format arguments instead of just doing its weird magic? Tune Spanx. This is we're on the Pinot Noir playlist of Sherman drink. You always printf? Well, you guys disagree. It's an errors.error string, which I'm guessing is the thing that's printed from errors.new, right? So I'm literally about to check the message, right? I'm like literally about to check the message, and that's gonna be how I check for this. That's like absolutely nasty. I didn't write enough C to remember the N. I would even take a println F, right? I would take a println F. So let's find out where this damn error is generated. I just want to, dude, it's right here. How come, can you explain to me something? Wait, no vendor, no result. How did this not work? No. What I did was this. How does this not find a result? Is it in my damn RG ignore? Is that what's going on? Is there such a thing? RG ignore, ag ignore? Git ignore? Does it ignore things in git ignore? My friends, it ignores my git ignore. So if I did RG-A, no result. How does this thing work? How does this thing work? Ignore. How do I just ignore the ignore, you know? No ignore. I have to type -- no ignore. Are you for realsies? Bruh. Okay, well, that's the answer. I feel extremely frustrated and mad. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to submit a patch to this person that makes this a structured error so I can actually check against it. Unless I can somehow check this condition myself. That would be a cooler way of doing it. So what is it doing? It's saying, come back. If not br.mrr.next result. This is the condition I want to look at. Can I see that from my client code though? Can I see r.batchResults. No, I can't. I can't do that. If error.error is equal to no result. This is nasty. It's nasty. Okay, I'm gonna return false nil, no error. Get rid of this. All right, let's run the tests. That's what you do too with the to do? Yeah. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about that, you know? I'll file an issue. That'll be fun. While this is going, let's file an issue together. PGX. Nah, I don't want to file. I mean, is it annoying to file an issue that you should just fix yourself? Like, what's the etiquette here? This is like a trivial PR, right? I'm gonna send a PR. I'm not gonna file an issue. It's obnoxious. Okay, con busy. The issue just in case what? Con busy. Wait, RG con busy vendor. Con lock error. Interesting. So I'm violating somebody's assumption of how something's supposed to work. Cool. pgcon.go. How come I can't navigate to that? Can I do projects and libraries? You just like to discuss with the author beforehand to see if they prefer an exported variable, a type, etc. It's probably best to do error no result now because of errors.is. Yeah, good point. That's an issue. Could be a good place to have that conversation instead of the PR. I don't know. I feel like you could also just have the conversation on the PR, but maybe you're right. So con busy happens when? It happens when I try to lock a connection. So I'm not doing that, obviously. Why don't I do the old debug.print stack, baby? Let's get there. Let's debug print stack. Whoops, what? Do I have to import it? And I can't import it unless I... Yeah, that's obnoxious. No, I agree with you. I don't think you want to do a huge PR without any discussion. No Go files. Wait, is it runtime debug? Is that what I'm missing? Yeah, I mean, that happens sometimes in the database. People want to do like a big feature because they're using it at their company and they're like, okay, we're going to implement this like giant not MongoDB, but like mega feature. And then they try to merge it and it's just like not going to happen. I don't know. Like you have to have a discussion. You have to have a conversation with the people who are maintaining the project if it's going to be really complicated. And it's good stuff too. I mean, like yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that. So I won't. So what's happening here? So this is a stack trace of where we are getting this lock error. It's like if someone rolls up with the MongoDB API layer for Cockroach with no prior discussion. I mean, that would, I don't know. I would take a PR for that. I think we had an intern who wanted to do that and then they never did it, but it would have been sick. Because you could totally implement, I mean, it'd be really not that complicated, except for the fact that MongoDB's API is probably super full-featured and really good, but the little basics, you know, you could do the little basics. It's kind of like that article. I don't know if you guys have read that article where it's like, people on HN always be complaining that it would be so easy for me to rewrite Stack Overflow in a weekend. And then in reality, of course, it's not the core of Stack Overflow that's hard to rewrite. It's all the details. It's the same with the MongoDB API, presumably. Thanks for the follow, XIZali212. Not the kind of thing you want blindly dropped, yeah. I agree. No, I agree. You definitely want that discussion. Right. Okay, so what's happening is that I'm calling send batch. Oh, maybe I just like didn't close my batch. Could that be the issue? Am I supposed to like extra special close this thing now that I'm using the batch interface? I'm guessing probably. I love when songs are like, okay, let's just drop some Spanish. Like some people talking in a different language just to make it sound a little bit deep, you know? I sound sarcastic, but I actually do love it. The return batch results must be closed before the connection is used again. Okay, so I see. The issue is that I bet I close the rows in various places, but I really want to be closing the... Oh, yeah, I want to be closing the batch results and possibly also the rows. I don't know. I'll just close both and hopefully nothing will explode. Throw some zest in there. Yeah, exactly. There's this one playlist that I play a bunch that has, it actually has two songs with the same vocal sample, which is like some French people talking about like, they're like, the dark of the night, the moon and the stars in French or something. And it's very like, oh my God, why? But also actually super hot. So you're starting to read Rust well, more like sprinkling some Spanish salt on it. Yeah, potentially. Okay, this is the same problem that we had in the very beginning, which is extremely suspicious as well, because yeah. What do you mean you're starting to read Rust well? Like you're starting to see the matrix with regards to lifetimes or something like that? You just see all the lifetimes flowing together in a single, you're just like, I see where the lifetimes are going. 111 is back, baby. Welcome back, my dude. Lifetimes are still a little tricky to me, says Frozen Droid. What's up, Frozen Droid? Yeah, I think that they are tricky, but they're tricky. I mean, I don't know. I think not having known much about Rust and still not knowing much about Rust, I do think that lifetimes are a really great abstraction for something that is inherently complex in programming. If you don't have the explicit lifetimes, you still have to think about lifetimes when you're managing memory. It's just that it's not explicit. So I really like that they make it explicit, and I think the complexity is there with or without the explicit thing. So I don't know. I think I'm a fan. MD layer does fine with Rust until he gets a function with 3 lifetimes and 4 type parameters. Lifetimes to me are like doing an arc. I don't know what an arc is. Oh, a reference counter. What is that? Is that from some language? I don't know how that stuff works. Is that C++? A reference? No. What does A stand for? I don't know. Automatic. It's like some Objective-C stuff, right? Did I make that up? I will say that learning Rust has helped me improve my Go code hygiene too. Both are great. In Rust, it's an async ref counter. Every time you use it, you +1, then -1 when done. Null bitmap, coming around to the claim that Rust code winds up with way more defensive copying than the equivalent C++ or something, just because working the lifetimes out is a pain. Interesting. But is it more correct? It might be. Maybe you make fewer mistakes because you do the defensive copies. But that seems okay. I don't know. You really wish Go ahead generics. We were talking about that earlier. Okay, so at this point in my problem, we're on line 200. We are sending a batch statement, and it's claiming that prepared statement had 3 statements and expected 1. And I'm pretty sure that this is not supposed to happen because we're sending. Oh, you know, I wonder if we reinitialize the connection in more than one place, and we only set that simple query parameters thing in one spot. I think that might be the problem. So let's see, where do we get our con? Where do we get our con? Our con is from SQLCon. Our c.con is here. Who sets this thing up?
Lying in the bathtub all day, just playing with their plastic duck, and now they're just thinking, well,
MD Layer,
what can I do?
have a good night, you two. Streaming to card, come hang out. Yeah, definitely check out MD Layer stream. He's really good. He also does Golang programming. It's totally different than mine, but also really interesting. You should go to see it. I'll be there. You should check it out too. CMN. Lithium X, there's something beautiful about Go, particularly in how predictable the code is. I agree. I will come join your stream, but not tomorrow, for I'm a humble servant in my home. Yeah, there's like house stuff to do too. A lot of house stuff to do these days. You do Rust in an embedded context? That's actually super cool. I feel like that's like the core best place to do Rust, right? Where do we like set this thing up? I don't understand. Oh, it's here. Run interactive. Oh, but this is the CLI. This is like not exactly what. Yes, this ensure con thing was the thing where I was adding this prefer simple protocol. You have 3 kids. That's a lot of work. Rust for embedded is definitely game changing. What kind of device do you work on? I don't know if you can talk about it, but I'm curious. Do we run pgx.parseconfig anywhere else? Because that would be problematic. Query log is not what we're looking at. See, how come? I mean, the use case. I mean, I don't know much about microcontrollers. That would be interesting for me too, but I don't know. I wouldn't be able to comment. I guess I was just thinking about the use case, yeah. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. what we're gonna do is we're gonna print out right before we run this query whether or not we have this simple preferred thing set up. And if it doesn't, then it means like, yeah, I don't know, like something is sort of screwed up. Can I get my config back out of this thing or nah? pgcon dot, I can't get my config back. Is that for real?
And that this is the beginning of the rest of the future now, that from now on they'll simply
This is obnoxious.
robots walking around.
Is this the thing that has the config?
Thinking nothing.
It is.
And there'll be nobody
Can I
left
get this
almost
back
to
anywhere?
remind them that there once was a species
I
called
can't.
a human being.
This is like so frustrating. So frustrating.
And a history and memory are right now being
Mm.
erased, and soon nobody will really remember that life is.
Isn't there like a dump thing that we have somewhere? What is that thing called again? It's like Golang recursive dump struct. We're working on a project for monitoring office space's climate and optimizing the control of heating, cooling, and AC, like Nest, but for offices. That's, I mean, that's like a thing, because people always be complaining about the office temperature. Holy crap. Go spew, that's what I wanted. Spew, do I have that imported? I do. Spew.dump con.con. Does this, yeah, this goes to standard out. Let's try that. See if it actually has that thing set or not. Friend works at a company that just became huge with office management software. Have Nest at home is not very good. You can buy a sensor for Nest to make it optimized for one particular room. Ecobee. Nest is great for its UI. I've never used one of those things, but it seems pretty sweet. I'm a mere renter underclass, so I don't have a Nest of my own or anything like that. Okay, oh my God. It dumped way too much. But maybe we can still scroll through this thing and find what we're looking for. It really dumped quite a lot, you guys. Like, wow, what is this? What is this craziness, realistically? Oh, does it? Oh, that's so cool. It actually, when you print out a byte array with this spew thing, it gives you the ASCII, just in case that you have ASCII in your byte array. That's useful. All right, we scroll way up. Where's our config at? Okay, here's our config. That's our TLS config. That's not what we want. Where's our, like, oh my God, this is obnoxious. Can I just search like prefer? Prefer simple protocol true. Okay, so we do prefer the simple protocol at this point. So the question still remains, why and how could we possibly be getting this error back? I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, maybe they're using a weird API that we're testing. We were used to the test API. Make query is the same API that we were using before. It runs con.query, which is not what we want. Okay, this is the problem. We only changed one of the APIs. We changed the SQL rows to strings thing, and this thing needs to also be changed to give us back the goods. No, wait a minute. This is right. Okay, do we have to look at what do you call it again? Wireshark? Is that what we're doing here? Let's print out. I thought that we had this working before. I don't get it. I don't really get it. Or was the problem that, no, I think that, let's read what this thing does, right? Send batch. It sends all queued queries to the server all at once. All queries are run in an implicit transaction, blah, blah, blah. I think that's wrong, by the way. I think that in CockroachDB, it doesn't do that. I need to fix that separately. We do a bunch of weird stuff. Oh, I mean, look, it's the problem just that it doesn't do simple statements. Is that the problem? I'm so confused about how we got this working before. I'm really super confused. Like, I should have checkpointed my state. I'm so frustrated. Okay, hold on a minute. What was the test that we started failing on before? It was like, oh no, I think this is actually, I think what we, no. Okay, we're just back to where we were originally. So we did this big refactor. We started using the batch interface, and then that broke everything else. But now that we've fixed everything else, we're back to not having it work for the real, the real batch use case. Okay, that's cool. I think actually that's fine. And what we need to just do is figure out whether we can teach this batch interface to permit the simple protocol. I think that's what it comes down to. This thing just uses the extended protocol only, and it needs to be able to use the simple protocol. So annoying. I just question this, right? Like I have this loop here. If simple protocol, do a bunch of simple stuff. Yeah, I mean, literally I want this loop just to, okay, I mean, that's fine. We'll just PR it. We'll just get it. We'll do it live. We're gonna edit in, let's see. So what's the cool thing to do? If I wanted to edit Jaxi PGX v4 and use it in my project, but not edit the vendored one, because that's sketchy, would I check it out in a different, would I just edit it over in a different editor and then turn off auto vendor or something like that? I don't know. Let's try this out. Hold on, wait. What we're gonna do is we're gonna fork PGX first of all, you guys. That's exciting. Okay, let's go to PGX. We're doing it. This is open source. Open source in progress. Okay, so that was wrong. How did that not? Did I not just go to that same website? Is GitHub down? GitHub just gave me some 500s, so that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so we're gonna fork. Y'all, GitHub is hella down right now. Is GitHub down? We are investigating elevated error rates for github.com, you guys. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. It's exciting. We're working through some things together. Okay, so I'm not gonna fork it for now. I'm just merely gonna open up a new window in this editor thing with the contents of Jaxi PGX. I'm gonna give it a new window. And we can go about changing some of this stuff. Right? Unless it's in a different package, because I know that this guy does like to have a bunch of different. No, it's in v4, PGX v4 con.go. Now I'm in the non-v4 one, so I think that that's already problematic. Oh wait, no, is it correct? Is this v4? How can I tell what version something is from within the package, dude? It's like, I find this so confusing. Go source, wait. Go source, GitHub, Jaxi. Is there like a v4 directory somewhere? Or do I just not have it? Is that the problem? Go get github.com, Jaxi, PGX v4. Is that gonna do something? That did do something. Okay, sweet. So now I think I can maybe open. No? PGX. Like, I don't get this. I don't get this. Is this v4 or is it not v4? How can you tell what version a package is in this new Go module world? I don't at all understand. Maybe it's in like the module declaration or something. Go.mod. No, this doesn't have anything. It just says go 112. Ah, module github.com jackc pgxv4. Okay, so we're in pgxv4. Great. So now if I go to con.go and I have my batch thing, I think that I should be able to have a different way of doing this if it's in simple mode, for sure. And what I really want to do is I just want to send the whole damn thing as a big fat simple. Maybe what I really want to do is instead of having send batch as an API, I want to teach the regular query thing that it might get multiple result sets. This does sort of feel like the thing where I would like to have a conversation with the maintainer. Maybe there's already even an issue about it. Let's search. I guess I would search multiple result set. This doesn't really seem right. GitHub is really struggling, you guys. I'll open an issue. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna call it sending or receiving batch or receiving multiple result sets via the simple protocol. Thanks for your great work on PGX. We're trying to switch to using it more in Cockroach as we like the way that it provides a more easy way I guess I should be a little bit more clear, more in some client code for Cockroach as we like the way that it provides it more as we like. How do I say this? It's abstraction, the way it's abstractions, the way it's Postgres protocol abstractions are built. There's one issue I'm running into, which is that it doesn't seem currently possible, make the font size a bit bigger. It doesn't seem currently possible to run a query in simple, run a query via the simple protocol that returns multiple result sets. Am I missing something? If I look at the single result set simple protocol code in, I guess it's con.query. If I look at the code in con.query, whoops, why am I having a hard time pressing the shift key? Okay, if I look at the code of con.query, there's a special case for simple protocol that's run, but it doesn't pay attention if there were multiple result sets returned by the server. And now, hold on a minute. Before I go any further, is that even true? Or did I just misinterpret the code this first time? Frozen Droid, thanks for the follow. I think if it were true that it were possible for this to work, this con rows would have to keep track of the multi-result reader. And it does. It does. So maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. And this is actually more possible than I originally thought. Where might I be able to access that multi-result reader from rows is the question. Like, who uses that thing? If anybody. Yeah, the thing is though that like, yeah, nobody does seem to actually use it. Nobody uses it to advance themselves. They only use it as a way to close out, which sort of implies to me that the only way to move on to the next result set is to ask some kind of wrapper, struct, or caller method thing to deal with it. And we can't get the multi-result row thing out of this conrows because it's private. So I think really the only way to interact with it is supposed to be through this batch reader thing. So I'm perplexed. I think that this issue is valid, in other words. So I'm going to continue. Forge onwards. Special case for simple. It doesn't seem to pay attention if there were multiple result sets returned by the server. The con rows that's returned from con.query, in fact, has a handle on the multi-result reader that could be queried to get the remaining result sets from the server. But as far as I can tell, the interface, the query abstraction isn't designed for multiple result sets. And so that multi-result reader isn't really used in this context. On the other hand, if we use the batch, exec batch, is that what it's called? Batch exec? Exec batch. The exec batch method on con, there's only the option of running via the extended protocol. Personally, I would like to see, if possible, how do I say this? Let's see. The difficulty here is that the simple protocol actually does let you send a batch in a single simple query. And now here's a question. Now that I think about it, what if this is actually just a CockroachDB quirk? What happens if I run pSQL? What if this is a CockroachDB quirk and this doesn't actually work on pSQL? How crazy would that be? You gotta bounce? All right, see ya, Null Bitmap. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Catch you next time. Here's what I wanna do. I wanna run the Cockroach CLI, which I know sends the old Cockroach CLI in a sense, the one that I'm not working on right now. Cockroach v 20.1.1, Cockroach, SQL, insecure, and I'm gonna pass in the Postgres stuff. So port 5432. I have to pass in user Jordan. So it's a couple of things are broken, but that's fine. So what happens if I run select one, select two like this? Because I know this is gonna be sent over the simple protocol. Okay, no, this is what I expect, right? I mean, and let's double check for a second that this is the case with Wireshark, that we're actually sending it in a single packet, etc., etc. Close this guy. Wait, I didn't want to do that. I never really am quite sure how to change the query in Wireshark without closing it and reopening it. What I want is Wi-Fi NO loopback and then port 5432. No, is that not how it works? Port 5432. Okay, now if I run this, and I run this guy again, I'm gonna see a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna see a query using the simple protocol with a batch compound thing. And I'm going to get back row description, data row command completion, row description, data row command. Okay, so this is what I expect. This is good. This is good. This is good. I can continue with this issue filing. Difficulty is that the simple protocol actually does let you send a batch in a single query, and it returns multiple result sets. And some things that we use depend on this functionality. Ideally, the exec batch interface could allow you to pass in a single compound query and respect the prefer simple protocol setting if you've asked for it. The reason that this is hard to work around is that in order to use the extended protocol, we'd have to parse the query and split it up into component semicolon separated queries on the client, which we'd rather not do. Okay, sorry for the long-winded intro. I'd like to propose concretely that exec batch be able to send queries via the simple protocol. Is that something that you're amenable to? I'm happy to contribute a patch. Cheers, Jordan. Okay, sorry, that took a long time. Thanks for bearing with me while I write a super long issue on GitHub. But I think that this is sort of key for what we're doing. So yeah, we'll see what happens. In the meantime, like, I don't know exactly what we should do. I think we've made some decent progress. I think I actually kind of want to wrap up right now though, because I'm getting a bit tired. It's been almost 4 hours. And I think we've made actually some really good progress on this annoying project. So yeah, I think I'm probably gonna wrap up. But I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and hanging out and donating subs. Lithium, looking at you, thanks so much for that. It's really been so fun. A really fun way to start my first day as a Twitch affiliate with 100 followers and some people subbing to me. So really appreciate all the love, you guys. I'm gonna take a look at who is online that we can raid, because I like doing that now. So let me take a look at this stuff. Thanks, Quap. Appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed. Why don't we go ahead and, yeah, we're going to raid this person. So this person is another programming streamer that I really like. Yeah, he does a great stream. Say hi. Yeah, do that. I don't really understand database programming, but interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, look, like this was actually realistically a kind of weird project. It wasn't exactly programming on the database. I've been sort of working on these auxiliary programs that we'd use to connect to the database, kind of like the client programs. But I definitely want to be doing more real database programming next time, and we've done that in the past. So hopefully we can do that more next time. But definitely check me out. You know, I do this every Friday, so we'll do more database programming next time. Thanks a lot, Shaquille. Thanks for stopping by. Anyway, okay, cool guys. Let's go do this raid. And enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend. I also think I might do a stream on Sunday, so if you're around, check me out then. You can follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, and yeah, okay, enough intro. We're raiding. So we're gonna click this button, and then in a few seconds we can click the button for real. But you guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy your night, and let's do this. Say hello. Goodbye. Raid now.